Alright, alright. Okay, we're here. We're here. Alright, I changed the title, okay? Fuck you guys. God, I schedule stream early, and this is the things I get. Wow, I see how it is. Whatever. Nagato, how's it going, buddy? Ooh, good lord. After Leeds, how's it going, buddy? Moon, how's it going, buddy? By the way, they haven't shown you Evernight's official artwork last time. Oh shit, really, Moon? Okay, I'll have if you have it and you want to send it to the artwork, feel free. Or if not, I'm sure someone else will send it later. But that's good to know. Thanks, buddy. Zaza, how's it going, man? God, I don't know what the persona people are on, but man, they don't miss for music. DSV, how's it going, buddy? Oh, I remember. Romero did send me a new EPUB. I don't know why. What the fuck is wrong with the old one? I don't know. But we'll use the new one. Okay. Frank, how's it going, buddy? What in the is going on with my computer? It's okay. It's bit by bit. It's starting to be time for me to save up for a new computer. God damn it. Uh, 1267. Got it. McSeely, how's it going, buddy? You're kidding. What the fuck is going on here? 1267. Romero, Amnesiac. How's it going, guys? Yeah, there is. Okay, I got oh yes, McSeely. Oh yes, you're right. Author notes. Yes, we need to do that. Fuck. Thank you. Let's do this. Is good. Sorry, I just need to. Every time now that I have a new document, new EPUB that Romero sent, I need to change the format for everything. Like I need to give me 2 seconds, okay? Oh no, I don't like monospace. Blue space also kind of sucks. This is fine. This is also okay. I want scrollable. Good. Listen, I want really thin. Pushcar Quantum, how's it going, guys? 5 hours on one boss on Silk Song. Oh shit, bro. Ending of Volume 6, it was really good, DSV. It was really good, man. I knew my boy Colin was gonna die going in. I just knew, but I still feel sad, man. I miss my boy Colin. My boy Colin. The GOAT, for real. 1267, welcome. But we'll do author notes first, of course. Thank you, Romero, for sending those. Appreciate you, buddy. After Lee's, I promise The audio is done recording. I'm just editing the video right now. It's like everything's done. I just need to finish editing, which should only take like 8 hours. Guess volume 7 name. How the fuck would I guess the volume name before I read? What do you mean? Colin carrying the whole warrior path. Actually, my go for real, dude. Remember how I took a linear algebra exam? What the for fuck's sakes. All right, no worries. Hope you're gonna do great. Okay, buddy. Just get some reading in. You're gonna be great. Don't even worry about it. I am a seer. Wait, you want me to do a divination on it? Okay, hold on. Let me cook. Okay. So hold on. So most important thing that's gonna happen this volume is Klein becomes an angel. At least that's like one of the most important things. Okay. It's a sequence name. You a bitch, Naruto. The obvious would be like Miracle Invoker. But, or no, Attendant of Mysteries would probably be more obvious, but I'm gonna leave that for now. So it's gonna be another sequence 1 name, I think. Let me open up my notes really quickly. Let me open up my notes. Give me 1 second. It's gonna be a sequence 2 or 1 name. Okay. Probably a 1. That's what I'm... Lesnio, yeah, new volume, fuck yeah. Volume 7 Planter? Oh, true. Oh, wait. Oh my god, of course. Brink is gonna become an angel. We get a sequence 1. I give you a hint, because you ain't getting it no matter what. Here's a hint, it's a sequence. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Okay, let's go. Attendant of Mysteries could be cool, but too obvious. Worm of Time, Keys of Star. Keys of the Star. Maybe. I feel like we're gonna get some shenaniganery with Mr. Door. I feel like we've been hearing too much about him for too long. So it could be Keys of the Star, because he would be a Key of the Star. I think. I don't even think it's a thing. I think it's just confirmed at this point. Nightwalker, how's it going, man? Abomination Sua? Nah, fuck you. Thunder God? Yeah, Alder's not doing all that. Conqueror. No, but we already had Red Priest, so really unlikely. Snake of Mercury. Oh, wait. Adam just became visionary. Adam just became a visionary. So it could be that very easily. Because it could be now him doing his shenaniganery. It could also be Amon trying to become an error. Those are also good ones. My final guess is either going to be Visionary or Keys of the Star. That's it. Those are those two. That's the thing. Okay. Now let us read the this. Okay. Okay. The 106 man, it's only 116 chapters. That is not long at all, eh? 116 chapters of Volume 6 to me achieved the overall degree of completion I expected. You have high standards, Fishman. During Volume 5, I mentioned that the pinnacle of the plot would occur in Volume 6. Note, I said pinnacle, not climax. At the same time, it was clear to me that it would be lacking in terms of satisfaction and explosiveness, but the essence of the volume was to bring back the strong sense of shock. Regarding this, when Amon uttered Chernobyl and when Colin said that Amibella had already died, I could clearly feel the same sense of happiness writing brings me. Thank God you're on. It's Keys of Stars, not Keys of the Stars. Really, Romero? You're gonna be that pedantic? Alright, fine. According to chapter subscriptions exceeded 60,000, breaking the record of the entire book, especially during the Amon arc, reaching 63,000. As for this Amibella chapter, because I wrote the conclusion before the 24-hour mark, I didn't have an accurate result. I only know that during the first hour that the chapter was uploaded, subscriptions were already at 32,000. How does this, like, when it says chapter subscriptions, does that mean, like, I don't even know how this whole fucking thing even works. Alright, sounds good, Hope. Get out of here, go study, man. There are two pinnacles of Volume 6, one at the beginning, one at the end, stringing together the entire volume. Both of these events were arranged as early as Volume 1. This guy's a fucking lunatic, bro. Even before I started writing Volume 1, these ideas were already thought of, and I had consciously began bearing hints depicting the two events. Excuse me? When I wrote Chapter 1, Crimson, I had already the complete picture in my mind. This guy's on crack. One of which was an inspiration that gradually took shape as I was putting together the story of the City of Silver and its curse. It was only after this that Emlyn and the Harvest Church came to be. I actually provided a lot of corresponding clues, although they were quite hidden. It wasn't without its foreshadowing. And surrounding these two pinnacles, many secrets have been unveiled. Generally, I don't think there were any problems creating this portion. It helped to gradually give shape to the overall universe, compared to a comparatively old framework. Thus, when I started unfolding information and hints regarding the Old Ones, the Outer Gods, the Ancient Sun God, and his family, it would become a lot more smoother. Family. Yes. Family. From Fast and Furious? Yes, using this term to describe them seems to be a lot more relatable. What I assume is author notes. Cuttlefish uses an idiom, which is an abbreviation for... which in essence describes the life of an ordinary mortal, mundane person. The literal translation describes the need mortals have to eat and toil to live, unlike immortals who do not require sustenance. That is why I translated it to relatable. Speaking of relatable, I would have to discuss the criticism directed towards the war and justice. What? Oh my god, these author notes are long, eh? Throughout the time I spent writing Martial Arts Master, I have been compiling a set of methodologies for writing suitable for myself. However, at the same time, many things were still vague to me, and it wasn't until I started writing Lord of the Mysteries and the corresponding experiments and results that things became clearer, thereby adding to my methodology. To me, the first business of writing, which is also the most important, is encompassed by a very, very rustic word: expression. Holy yapper. Wind Valley. The fucking goat, dude. He's like, I feel like Wind Valley is like everywhere in the Lord of the Mysteries fandom. Like anytime anything happens, Wind Valley is like, he's like, I was here first. What is it that I wish to convey and deliver? This is something that must undergo clear consideration before setting pen to paper. After that, I would need to make a choice regarding what I will include or what I will omit in writing to make sure my focal point doesn't deviate. To put it simply, I will use a phrase that everyone abhors: centralized thoughts, referencing people's dislikes of one of the tenets of the Chinese educational system, whereby there's only one correct answer to a very subjective question. True, reality is objective. I am right, and therefore you must be wrong if you disagree. Go to Chinese behavior, what? Then, what is it I wish to express in Volume 6? First, it is the sense of impact that these two plot points bring. Second, the insignificance and helplessness mortals feel in the face of gods. Thirdly, despite being as small and insignificant as a moth, one should always seek the light. Regarding the second point, this theme isn't exclusive to Volume 6, it is an inevitable component of any novel worldviews inspired by Cthulhu and quasi-Cthulhu mythos. One's fear of the unknown as well as the insignificance when faced with that unknown, which is in the same vein as the straw man from Volume 2. When it says straw man, is that a mistranslation for like the faceless from Volume 2? Yes, H.P. Lovecraft, we got him. Yeah, I'm good. I get it. It's fine. Therefore, before I started writing Volume 6, even before I started writing Volume 5, I've been considering what kind of story would be necessary in order to deliver the things I wish to express into a reader's mind. Stranger, how's it going, man? How you doing? The strawman old caller. Communism of thought, what the fuck? If I started to expand on the war, then the focus would shift to various mystical powers, battleships, machine guns, and cannons. which would be comparatively more fresh within the and with the inclusion of elements of sacrifice, exhilaration, and the brutality of war, it would deviate from the crux of what I wish to express, because once you arrive on the battlefield, the significance behind death and survival become apparent. There wouldn't be a sense of befuddlement over why you're still alive or why you're dying. Strawman refers to the chapter in Volume 2 where people die. Oh, I see. Okay, thank you. At the same time, the story has always depicted fights between Beyonders, and arriving at Volume 6, I even began unraveling the secrets behind the various kings of gods and kings of angels and gods. If I was to also expand into the war between ordinary humans, and not only would the two scenarios conflict with each other, it would also be rather weird. With this in mind, as I mentioned very early on, I wouldn't go into the details of the war. Instead, the primary focus would be on the lives of the ordinary people embroiled in the war. I purposefully made these people indistinguishable and without names, which is another expression of the title of Volume 2, Faceless, to exemplify the concept of the numerous of the masses and to decrease the relative pain and sorrow people feel, instead accentuating the feeling of loss, apathy, and confusion. It's really good. Nightwalker, you don't want to see my reaction to that, dude. I was on some shit at the time. I did not have probably what would be a normal reaction to that. The only person with a name were the landlord and lady. This part was to emphasize the pain and the hardship of the people. Otherwise, the scene where Audrey's determines herself, kneels before her parents' bed, and kisses them before leaving would lack the necessary force. Good afternoon, Mystery Fool! Originally, there was no need for the scene where Audrey engages in charitable behavior to be repeated, but in order to increase the sense of apathy, stupefaction, pain, and the confusion of people, I intentionally wrote a few more of these scenes. Consequently, these scenes were a little monotonous and insistent, while failing to reflect the changes within Audrey's heart. Kami, how's it going, man? However, I don't think there were any... No, Kami! However, I don't think there were any problems with her two conversations with Klein, each encompassing a different sense of confusion, nor were there any problems with her behavior after resolving herself and the subsequent manipulations. There was no delay, no encumbrance, because she has her own internal conflicts, and the relevant tensions in the story still exist. In summary, I combined the total build-up of determination within Audrey's heart, her own growth, and the insignificance of mortals together, combined them into one thread, resulting in a situation where I'm writing about her, but the real focus wasn't on her, which made Audrey seem like a tool for the plot. This is probably a spectator's mandatory duty and sacrifice. Captain Panda, how's it going, man? Thank you. However, I would like to thank everyone for your tolerance and understanding. During these chapters, subscriptions basically didn't drop. What a goat, dude. Resting at 53, he's like, I write good chapters, they go up. I write bad chapters, they stay the same. Fucking winning. Fucking winning every time. It let me proceed calm and nonchalantly, allowing me to encompass everything while I wanted to express. I'm not saying bad chapters, I just mean like not as engaging, let's call it. During the final battle at Backland, the reason behind unfolding it from Audrey's perspective was to demonstrate the changes the battle between gods would bring to Backland, and to conclude all of the things that I've been paving for up to that point. As a spectator, walked down the streets and the alleys down on her way home, she witnessed the same confusion inside others, down from normal people up to nobles, and finally to herself, a demigod. Welling up and culminating in lament. Death is without reason, and life without purpose. I don't know what persona this music is from, but it's really good. Excuse me? I think this is 4. I say that. I have not played any of the personas other than 5, so I don't know. Zaza, I have like so many disabilities, bro. It's crazy. I'm like... I have this impression that the relevant plot wasn't a waste of time, and I feel like the plot, which was somewhat adrift, has finally found its grounding, deep, heavy, stable, and solid. Additionally, this part, what do you mean, stranger? Additionally, this part also ties into the build-up of emotions in 3 parts and the shamelessness, insignificance, and sorrow that Audrey experiences. To Bernadette's pursuit, and certainly... Bernadette! Knowledge Emperor? Fuck, I forgot about Bernadette's plot. Shit! Oh, Knowledge Emperor. It could so easily be Knowledge Emperor. That's the sequence one of her thing, right? Oh, it could so easily be Knowledge Emperor. Oh, I'm so cooked. Oh, fuck. God, this music is so good. To Bernadette's pursuit and certainty regarding how dark and bleak the journey would be, she would continue, and finally, to the City of Silver, she had spent millennia questing the darkness, who at last opened the door, laying eyes on a sliver of light and on the thing named Hope. Scarlight, how's it going, man? It is for this reason my original plan to feature Roselle in Volume 6 was pushed back to Volume 7. Oh my god, we're gonna get to talk to Roselle! It has been ordained! I called it so long ago! My goat! We get to talk to him. This progression of emotions could be reversed, but that would be extremely dispiriting. It wouldn't suit the title, Lightseeker. By the way, I know the thumbnail is still the old one. I'm really hoping there'll be... I'm almost certain there's gonna be new thumbnail material by the end of this stream, because I'm like 91% sure Klein becomes an angel by the end of this volume, by the end of this stream today. So I feel like there should be some really good art for that. And if that's the case, I'll change it before tomorrow's stream, okay? Regarding the death of the chief, because Lovia died earlier, I didn't want to reiterate the sorrow and sensationalize it. Instead, it was with restraint that I described his condition, to let the relative sorrow be hidden deeper, and instead focus on the light and his expression of regret, release, and hope. The deeper, Godzilla, how's it going, man? Dude, that reveal from, Colin was so goated when he says, like, oh, tell Chermont that, the curse of the City of Silver comes from one of our artifacts that is what, allows us to have blackface grass, and the god of, oh, and the Earth Mother can't be Amibella because she's dead and in my basement. It was like, what the fuck? That reveal was so good. Act 2, Expedition 3. Varshan, we haven't even started reading yet, bro. I'm just doing the, what do you call it? I'm just doing the author notes right now. We're good. Therefore, no, wait, hold on. Besides, if I don't write about the war... Where the fuck am I? Hold on. Yes. The problem with Volume 6 was that it required too many battles, cramped too quickly. In the middle of the volume, I lacked necessary pacing for the tension to loosen, resulting in reading fatigue. This is something I would need to pay attention to in Volume 7. This is kind of true. Besides, if I don't write about the war, I would lose the chance to expand on the rest of the world. It would seem like the scope of the story was limited. However, this was something that I anticipated. With the existence of the 22 pathways, numerous different countries, gods, and angels, if I was to open up these areas, Kleiny boy would end up having to run all over the place, and that would feel very cumbersome and bloated. It would feel akin to a dragonfly skimming the surface of the water, so as to scratch the surface superficially but go no deeper. Oh, did I miss that, Nagato? Damn, where is he right now? In Bloodborne. Who was that? Who was that? Someone asked. Any theories on, oh, Stranger, yes. Any theories on which pathway Paragon is? Okay, it's either the Reader pathway or it's the Savant pathway. Those are the only two. Because it gave me 0 through 3, and those are the only two pathways that I know none of 0 through 3. So it has to be one of those two. Logically, it just has to be Savant, so I put it in there in my notes, because Paragon for Reader doesn't make any sense. So it's almost certainly Savant in my mind. You know 3 of Savant? I don't think so. Isn't it like the Demon of Arcana or whatever? Is that not the one? Yeah, I don't know Demon of Arcana. What do you want? I know 4, which was Alchemist. As a background music, thank you, Zen! I love Persona, dude. I just beat Vicar Amelia? Which one is that one? Sorry. It's been a while since I've played Bloodborne, okay. Oh, Vicar Amelia! Okay, you're decent. You're like a decent way in. Good for you. That's good. Sorry, yeah, I'm stalling. Hold on. Therefore, even though I have already very detailed framework enveloping the Republic of Intes, the Kingdom of Fena Potter, etc., I can't just introduce them. Santa, how's it going, man? I can't introduce them. Regarding this, a certain 1.5 metered classmate— what the fuck does a 1.5 metered classmate mean? Could testify on my behalf. While I was making preparations for Lord of the Mysteries— it is personified music, McSeely. While I was making preparations for Lord of the Mysteries, she asked me what the outline of the story was. So I copied a portion of the settings surrounding Intes, and that was probably a very detailed version of it. This was something I set my mind on before starting Lord of the Mysteries. I would limit the scope of the story to the utmost extent, focusing instead on one country and making it as vivid and meticulous as possible, thereby bringing out the distinguishing characteristics of other countries in contrast, establishing a more coherent framework for the entire planet. Achieving this, the purpose behind writing Lord of the Mysteries would be accomplished. You guys should be able to feel that I've been keeping some things back. This is some of the stream Saturday, but had come— oh, okay. Yeah, no worries, Sense. I appreciate being here, buddy. Man, Volume 6 ending was fucking dope. Again, I feel sorry for my boy Colin, but I knew it was coming. It just thematically fit perfectly that, like, Colin would die like, hey, I'm the last chief of the old era who had to go through all this bullshit of, like who had to go through the curse of the City of Silver, the darkness, blah, blah, okay? Now, the next chief is going to be the Lightbringer. He's going to be, like, someone who lives in like another world, and they have a whole different set of duties. They don't have to constantly be worried about like the dangers and shit. They have to worry about like keeping our city and our culture cohesive. So it makes sense. He was gonna die, but still, my boy Colin was goated. Okay, would have been cool if Colin lived. Yeah, but it just thematically it fits perfectly. Dr. Z, how's it going? Concerning the other countries and other pathways, I had originally hoped to manage it, that is, under the same world, to write a second, maybe even a third book under different perspectives, using things that I didn't have a chance to use in regards to Intes, Fena Potter, the various secretive cults, organizations, the Western continent, and the other products of my world building, utilizing my approach to complete the entire universe of Lord of the Mysteries. I loved Colin because he's like a one-to-one with my boy, my goat, Geralt of Rivia from the Witcher series. I even thought about some other possible storylines that I may or may not take up. For example, a certain blessed one of the old ones. What the fuck does that even mean? Attempts to infiltrate and sabotage things, but falls prey to an accident, losing their memories, and eventually getting picked up by the Church of Knowledge and Wisdom, indulging in exams and textbooks day in and out, or someone who was starting out as a hunter and ends up receiving instructions from Saint Danitz. Damn, that sounds like the most cooked thing ever. Are crying as he loots Anderson, contesting wit and skill with the Red Angel, etc. What? Was it your birthday soon? Was it your birthday recently, Dr. Z? What does Kami mean by that? This might be the main storyline of the second book. As for the third, it might be a story based on the Western continent, an Eastern Oriental themed Lord of Mysteries. I was smiling as I read the comments on how you guys theorized a sky of Lord and Heaven and Earth route. I don't even know what that means. Of course, regarding the power level of the Western continent, I left a few connections, but nothing concise yet. Tomorrow? Oh shit, that's awesome! Happy early birthday! I assume you won't be here tomorrow, so all the same, but happy early birthday! There may not be a third book, but at the moment, any plans for the birthday, Dr. Zane? There may not be a third book, but at the moment I can promise there will be a second one. You bitch, make a third. But it won't be the next one I write. I intend to change the theme of the story and change my mood, write about something else. After all, I have accumulated a lot of inspiration, with two especially interesting ones taking shape. One leans towards Fallout and the other towards Jiansha. It's hard to decide which one at the moment. I will consider it in detail after gathering materials and completing Lord of the Mysteries. Small talk at the end. At the same rule, 3.5 days of rest. Updates will continue, blah blah blah. As for the name of Volume 7, many of you have guessed it correctly. It will be Hanged Man. Oh, Ancient Sun God, true creator. Okay, that makes sense too. He wrote after Lord of the Mysteries, Embers at, and yes, someone has mentioned that, Kame. True. You are the 6th gen. I'm the what? Excuse me? The Hanged Man. Finally, since I uploaded this chapter, how could I not make a request for formal tickets? Da, da, da. Lastly, give me your monthly tickets. My go. It's pretty short and pure fire. That's good. That's good, Kami. Okay, we might check that out after. It'll be after COI, but we might check that out after. Be fun. Okay, let's get started. Man, my boy Klein is gonna become an angel, like in like 15 minutes. 1267. Welcome. Bedtime. Bedtime. Beyond the open grayish-blue door, a flight of stones... hold on, let me just pop this over really quickly. Hello, we're already at 40 people. Thanks everyone for being here. How's everyone doing? I haven't even started reading it. Fucking bit. Oh my fucking god, my... It's fine. Sorry, my keyboard occasionally just decides to stop working, I believe is the term. And yeah, you just want to... just makes you want to commit crimes at that moment. Yeah, new EPUB, Romero. Yeah. Beyond the open grayish-blue door, a flight of stairs led to the sea that glowed with the golden sunlight. Wait, hold on. Have I been abusing my keyboard pushcart like you wouldn't fucking believe, okay? Every time I die to a boss in Lies of P, I throw it against the wall. Every time I die twice to the same boss, I try to fucking snap it over my fucking knee. Yeah, I'm abusing the shit out of this thing. Ooh, wouldn't believe it. I want like... Kren, how's it going, man? I wanna... Which boss are you at? I'm not at a boss. I just kind of quit midway. I'm on this... I just beat this, like, humanoid enemy, Romero. Like, it was like this girl dressed in all white. She was screaming about her sister dying to puppets or something. I don't know. I can't remember. I just beat her and then I logged off. I'm not at a boss right now. I don't know. Don't ask. Don't ask me names. Okay, I couldn't fucking tell you. I don't know. Beyond the open, beyond the open grayish door, a flight of stairs led to the sea that glowed with golden sunlight. This, along with the boundless light, once again entered the eyes of the residents of the City of Silver, such as Liavel and Candace. I'm sorry. As members of the former expedition team, this wasn't the first time they had seen such a scene. Even so, their souls remained deeply shocked as they subconsciously held their breaths. With the Thunder God's roar hammer in hand, Derek stood at the front of his 2-meter-tall, wide-shouldered build as he was silent. After nearly a minute, Liavel probed Elder Berg, "When are we leaving?" He was a Sequence 5 Guardian who stood at nearly 2.5 meters tall. This made his limbs' physical proportions slightly abnormal. Derek stared at the sea that was rippling with golden spots of light for a few seconds before saying, "Let's wait a while longer." Elder Berg, what a go. At this moment, several days had passed since he had opened the door. He had led the expedition team back to the City of Silver with the ashes of the chief and the Elder Lovia, as well as their characteristics and artifacts. He had also used the secret to obtain the trust of the current chief of the 6-member council, Wade Chermont. "Lyola, how's it going?" This time, Derek led the 20 City of Silver Beyonders to do a reconnaissance so as to find a safe passage to confirm the situation of the outside world. "Sanab, how's it going, man?" On this matter, he had rejected Mr. World's suggestion of using the Staff of the Stars to directly transfer the entire City of Silver from the Forsaken Land of the Gods. He wanted to use his feet to take in the path of hope. I would agree with that. I think there's something like very visceral about like physically walking out and you're like, nah, we're leaving this place behind. It's done. Although I'm not gonna lie to you, I had maybe this was too hopeful, but like a part of me hoped that once they would open that door, like the whatever remaining remnants of power or corruption or whatever you want to call it would be like dispelled out of here, so they could stay where they are, but like live in like a decent place and not a fucking shithole. But that was too hopeful, I guess. He wanted to remember what the light that the City of Silver had finally found after persisting for 2,000 years of sacrifice was like. Upon hearing Derek's answer, the members of the team, such as Liavel and Candace, didn't say much. They all took a step back and enjoyed the scenery. "Loop, how's it going, man?" They still didn't trust Derek much. After all, he had a close relationship with outsiders, and the chief and the Elder Lovia had both died during their previous expedition. Only this Unshadowed and that outsider had survived. If not for the 6-member council choosing to believe him, they would definitely be hostile and wary. After an unknown period of time, the shimmering sea was suddenly enveloped by darkness. What do you think Amon is going to do with the blasphemy slate? I think he's probably going to try to find the person who's closest to like being a god right now, Clown Man, and then like tell him like, hey, here's the ritual you need to do to become a god. Okay, I'm going to help you. I'm like a super helpful guy. I'm just here for like shits and giggles. Let's get you your stuff to become a god, you know, because I could really use a god friend. Get him to be in the ceremony and then kill him and take his place and then become a god himself. He's like, haha, gotcha, bitch. Deep in the darkness, they would barely make out a thin fog. In the fog, there was a black pointed cathedral with all sorts of buildings. It gave people the feeling that it was both real and illusory. Derek and company were no strangers to darkness. He instinctively glowed while those who needed to light up candles did so. They did it hurriedly without any signs of turmoil. After the 21-strong team was protected by light, they looked with curiosity at the town and the fleeting pedestrians in the fog, unable to understand what was going on. Sequence 0 of Amon is error, Clownman, yes. This wasn't the darkness they were familiar with. At the same time, the naturally glowing Derek raised his left hand and said, "Let's set off." Yes, you need to replace someone else's you need to replace someone else during their apotheosis. Yes, Clownman, know that too. Without waiting for his team members to respond, he took a step through the door and followed the stone steps outside, taking one step after another into the darkness. Everyone exchanged looks as they gritted their teeth. Without falling behind, they followed the newly appointed member of the 6-member council, Elder Derek Burge, out of the Giant King's sudden residence. We met this kid a year ago when he was not even a Beyonder. He's now a demigod and an elder of the 6-member council of the City of Silver. What a goat, dude. In the rich darkness, as they walked down the stairs, their eyes lit up. They saw an orange glow, and in the row of black cloister buildings. Is this the outside world? Candace looked around and asked curiously. She realized that all of them had unknowingly walked to the opposite side of the Giant King's court and were separated by a sea of orange-red from where they were. No, Derek compared the current situation to Mr. World and Ma'am Hermit's description. He nodded slightly. We still need to wait here a while longer. Feel free to find a spot to rest. Didn't he? I don't think so, Woolblock. Cause am I crazy? Because like I feel like Derek walked in and said like, "Hey, I want to be from the Sun Pathway, but we don't have that in the City of Silver." Is that not what happened? Well, am I just making that up? I might be wrong. I don't know. This unshadowed, who no longer had any hint of adolescence, calmly arranged everything. Liavel looked at the tightly shut black cloister and asked in puzzlement, "Is there no need to explore this place in search of an exit?" "There's no need," Derek shook his head. The members of the reconnaissance team didn't ask further, nor did they rest. They remained standing in their spots while waiting patiently. At the same time, as time passed, blinding sunlight shone into this world, turning everything bright and white. Everyone subconsciously looked around and saw the golden sea yet again. They felt a terrifying aura that daunted them. However, unlike before, they were already on an island. Behind them were huge patches of golden, strange plants with smiling faces. Golden? Are these dandelions? What are these? They didn't seem to have any signs of degeneration or abnormality, making every member of the City of Silver's team experience the joy of life. We're really outside. It really is a different world. Everyone found it impossible to contain the amazement in their heart. They confirmed a fact. Elder Derek hadn't betrayed the city. His cooperation with the outsider really did bring everyone outside of the cursed land. Elder Burge? Candace stammered. "Thank you." Derek nodded slightly with his back straight. Instead of expressing the apologetic feeling in his heart like Candace, Liavel looked around and said, "Elder Burge, how do we leave this place? Build a boat?" The term building a boat was only limited to the words in their history books, so it sounded rather weird. "There doesn't seem to be any material here that we can use to build a boat," Candace and company immediately said. Derek shook his head. "There's no need. Wait a little longer." Before he could finish his sentence, a black shadow loomed across the horizon. The shadow grew bigger and bigger as it quickly followed the safe sea route between the golden spots of light. Not long after, the shadow revealed its outline. It was a hybrid ship with smoke spewing out of it, with all its sails up. The ship hung a blue sea serpent flag. Blue sea serpent? Is that the Blue Avenger? A boat? That's a boat? As the company kept their vigilance up, they posed questions. Derek had received some general education at the Tarot Club. He was an experienced person who had seen pictures of various ships. Upon seeing this, he nodded slightly and said, "That's right." Pushkar, why do you say that like I wear the same shirt every day? What the fuck is your question? Okay, in fairness, you're not totally wrong, because like I'm fucking weird, so I have 14 of the exact same black t-shirts, so you're not super wrong. But like the way you pose that question makes it feel like I own one t-shirt, okay? I don't as they spoke, the ship approached, making the figure standing at the ship's bow gradually clearer and clearer. It was a black-cloaked man with yellow eyebrows and dark blue eyes. He jumped onto the masthead and spread his arms to the people of the City of Silver. Well, that's okay. So Tina, I saw a black T-shirt. I bought one. I liked it, and then I just ordered 13 more. My logic was, listen, you should. My logic was like, in case like one weekend or whatever I'm out and I don't have access to a laundry machine, I have like a 2 week supply. Like in 2 weeks, I should have access to what do you call it? A fucking washing machine at some point. So I'll be okay. Yellow eyebrows, dark blue eyes. Lord Danitz, of course. Upon seeing this scene, Derek, who had maintained his stern attitude, heaved a sigh of relief. He knew that everything was as he expected. Danitz originally wanted to jump off the ship and walk to the believers of Mr. Fool to announce they had been saved, but glancing at the height of the people of City of Silver, he held himself back. Danitz was like, bro, I'm gonna get down there and look like a baby looking up to fucking adults. Standing on the masthead, he completely widened his arms and said to Derek and company, "Welcome to the world of light, promised by God." Saint Danitz, what a goat. Pushcar, I moved this fucking stream back a half hour because of you. I fucking double dare you. I quadruple dare you, motherfucker. Say that again. In the ancient palace above the fog, Klein sat at the high-backed chair belonging to the Fool. Considering through the crimson star that symbolized the sun, he watched the entire process of the City of Silver's expedition team. He was constantly prepared to deal with any accidents. When the history, which had been sealed for over 1,000 years, had combined with the present, with them boarding the ship that originated from the new government of the Rorstad archipelago, and leaving the most dangerous core region of the ruins of the Battlefield of Gods was over, he heaved a sigh of relief. He put down the Staff of the Stars and beckoned for 2 items. They were the Miracle Invoker characteristic that had seeped out of the curtain and the Worm of Star that from Saint of Secrets Botus. After some thought, Klein reached out his left hand and grabbed a large blob of dark red liquid from the historical void. This was Kotar's blood. There was exactly 300 milliliters of it, and it was the core supplementary ingredient for the Miracle Invoker potion. My boy's about to be a fucking angel! Let's go, baby! Of course, as a supplementary material, it had only one purpose: to reduce the negative effects of the Beyonder characteristic and reduce the corresponding mysticism influence. Therefore, it didn't matter if it was a projection. After all, as long as it could play its role during the potion's concoction and consumption, Klein would have either succeeded or failed in his advancement by the time the projection expired. If he failed, he would have broken down into a monster. If he succeeded, he would have become a Miracle Invoker and gained initial control of the characteristic, so there was no need for the supplementary ingredients of effects. Klein did kill him. Could he not just take some of his blood when the corpse was there? I know he wasn't dead, but like, he couldn't just take some actual blood? Following that, Klein took out something else from the fog of history, a ringed worm of time. As he had a strong psychological trauma towards Amon, Klein had chosen to summon a worm of time that Pala Zoroast had given him, lest anything unexpected happened. After preparing the materials, he conjured a metal pot and threw in... Couldn't he just ask Leonard for a worm of time? I know the old man is like, oh, I'm weak. Bro, you're a fucking sequence 2 angel. You can give me 1 worm of time. Come on. How many marionettes can he have after becoming a sequence 2? Nagato, how many can he do right now? How many can he do right now? Is it 50? Or was... No, 50 was... No. 600. Yeah, never mind. 600. 600. Wait, 300? Okay, most people are saying 600, so we're going to go with that, okay? So, from 4 to 3, it was from 50 to 600, a 12x multiplier. I'm not going to say like it's a 12x, but we're going to go... I'm going to go like 2,000. Feels good. 2 2,000. I think that feels fair. I want to go for like 3,000, but that feels too much. 3,000, like 5x kind of seems crazy. Okay, wait, hold on. After preparing the materials, he conjured a metal pot, threw the 300 milliliters of blood into it, placed the worm of time, sparkling worm of star inside, one after another. The black and red liquid in the cauldron turned dark. Its surface became translucent and clean. Deep in the cauldron was a black vortex. Seer, how's it going, buddy? How you doing? Holy fuck, we're at 60 people? How's everyone doing this fine Monday morning? Without any hesitation, Klein picked up the Miracle Invoker characteristic. It resembled a heart, transparent like a crystal, but there were tiny bubbles emerging from time to time. Every bubble seemed to contain an illusion. When the characteristic came into contact with a liquid in the metal pot, it immediately merged into it, causing the darkness to instantly deepen, making it seem as though countless eyes were opened at the same time. After staring at it for a few seconds, he poured the concocted Miracle Invoker potion into a glass and used the bestowment ritual to bring it to the real world. On an uninhabited island in the Sonia Sea, Klein, who had teleported over, looked over at the potion in his hand. He suddenly felt a little hesitant because he had once become an angel. Because once he had become an angel, his body would inevitably be affected by the characteristic. He would become colder and crueler, becoming more and more indifferent to life. He needed sufficient anchors to maintain his humanity. This wasn't something that could be avoided by completely digesting the potion or by using the acting method. Back then, Roselle went through the early stages smoothly, but when he became an angel, he nearly mutated. As for the angels that he knew, they looked normal on the surface, but he had no idea what they were like behind the scenes. If one could obtain a long life at sequence 4 and 3, allowing them to live more than 1,000 years, a saint didn't have much motivation to become an angel. But an angel is, an angel is biologically immortal, right? Is that a fair, that's my understanding? Like, an angel won't die of age. Like, they can be killed, sure, but an angel won't die of age. Is that fair? Combined with the saying that a higher one's sequence was, the closer one was to the primordial one, he suddenly understood why Katarina had only risen from sequence 4 to 3 in 1,000 years. No? Really? So in time they will die. But I have no way out, Klein sighed. Nearby threats like Amon and Zaratul were approaching, and the days of the apocalypse were coming, as well as the fact that he was previously unable to interfere with the war. These all pushed him to becoming an angel. He didn't want to simply contribute his strength through donations. His eyes flickered for a few seconds before he returned to his calm state. He picked up his potion bottle and poured the liquid in his mouth. 1268, Miracle Invoker, let's go! Ooh. What is a miracle? To be brought back from the dead. Zaratul is old because he's stupid. What kind of faceless becomes old? That's actually kind of base, Dr. Z. True. The moment the Miracle Invoker potion entered Klein's stomach, it turned into countless cold worms and swam towards every corner of his body. Suddenly, Klein's mind tore apart and turning into countless small pieces that combined with different worms of spirit. There was no longer any discernible difference between the main body and the auxiliary one. Hold on. You know what? No, I like the old. I'm going to stick to the Persona 5 music for now. We'll change it later because Kami said there's going to be a time later, but for now, I want to just stick to the Persona 5 one. I find it so much cooler. The Witcher 3, while I love the music, it's putting me to sleep right now. Yes, I did wake up 2 hours ago. Shut up. Who's asking? God, you guys are so judgy. At some point in time, he had entered the grayish-white fog. His top hat and long black trench coat quickly disintegrated and numerous translucent worms and twisted maggots crawled out. These maggots quickly flew into the depths of the fog, each occupying different light fragments, overlapping with the projections of themselves in the historical void. In just 2 or 3 seconds, the spot where Klein stood had become his only had his windbreaker, shirt, t-shirt, socks, and leather shoes, and personal items. They had lost the support of a body and were held suspended there. Who am I? It's me. I'm the main body. The various worms of spirit had different but similar thoughts. None of them were willing to return to their own body of their own accord. Instead, they felt a strong sense of animosity towards their own kind. It was only because they still had Klein's remnant psyche influence that they hadn't done anything extreme for the time being. At this moment, yet another invisible ripple appeared in the grayish-white fog. This ripple didn't appear by coincidence. It had long existed in the grey fog, but compared to his collective whole, it appeared indiscernible. But to a worm of spirit, it was obvious. It came from a portion of history that appeared in the present era, symbolizing the fragments of light that ended in the second epoch and portions of the third. They symbolized the 2,000 years that the City of Silver had persisted in the darkness. This forgotten history had a certain clash with the present era, as it formed a corresponding historical void ripples spread out in an indiscernible manner. Such ripples seemed to exert a strong attraction on the worms of spirit, making them peep their heads from the historical sense. After a short amount of time, one of the worms of spirit crawled out of the light spot which it occupied, failing to resist it any further, and succumbing to the effects of Klein's remnant consciousness. It flew to the center of the ripple. On the heels of that, worms of spirit returned from different spots in the fog of history as they arrived at the fragment of light formed by the City of Silver's history in the present era. When they reach a certain distance from each other, a strong force of convergence finally appeared, pulling together countless worms of spirit into one. This wasn't an effect that could be produced by 2 or 3 worms of spirit. It needed to have a sufficient number of phenomena to have this happen. And when this portion of spirit of worms of spirit was once again awoken, Klein's incomplete consciousness completed the piecing together of his identity. Things finally turned simple. The worms of spirit formed a transparent and gigantic vortex, emitting a strong convergence force that sucked in the remaining hesitant nearby worms of spirit that were unwilling to return. After more than 2/3 of the worms of spirit returned, a series of transparent tentacles grew out of the vortex. They extended towards the second and the first epoch, and even the prehistoric city of an earlier time. They grabbed the last batch of the worms of spirit one after another and stuffed them back into the vortex, and they said, yoink, you're back. In less than 20 seconds, the vortex began to extend, turning into a terrifying figure formed from transparent twisted maggots. An invisible tentacle naturally extended from the figure's body. The tentacles pulled over the windbreaker, top hat, socks, and leather boots that stood in the fog of history, dressing up the terrifying figure. The figure formed from countless worms of spirit pressed down on the top of his head, causing the translucent feeling of his body to fade, forming a layer of flesh-colored skin, short black hair, and brown eyes. The appearance of Klein Moretti, but his height had reached 1.8 meters. Is Klein shorter than 1.8 meters? That's not that. 1.8 meters isn't that tall, right? Like 6 feet, exactly, I think? No, it's like 5'9". What? Wait, he's short. Klein is originally shorter than 5'9"? Oh my god, Klein's a little boy. With great difficulty, he finally regained his consciousness before Klein, who had made his soul body whole again. Oh, yes, you're right. It is 5, it's like 511. Never mind, never mind. Okay, in my defense, Google says 5.9 feet. In my mind, 5.9 referred to 5 feet, not 9 inches, not 5.9, like as a decimal, because whatever, you guys get what I mean. One was from the... Wait, with great difficulty, he finally regained his consciousness. Before Klein, who had made his soul body whole again, could analyze his present state, he felt two abnormalities. One was from the characteristic that fused with his body. It was a strong, terrifying, high and mighty will that made it impossible to resist. It seemed to awaken a little and transmitted one image after another. These images were filled with mysterious knowledge of a miracle invoker. Some were filled with dust that burned into sun, magnificent scenes generated by various celestial bodies. Some filled with a sense of desolateness, coldness, cruelty, madness, superciliousness, and the void of any emotional imprints. They quickly assimilated into Klein's spirit, changing his state into an irresistible manner. That's so crazy. Like, a part of it is just filled with, like, desolate, cold, mad, void of emotional imprints. Like, and that joins into your spirit body. No wonder you become a little fucking crazy. You're like, humans! Yeah. One was from, Another thing that surfaced before Klein's eyes were the crimson stars and the numerous points of light, the prayers from the members of the Tarot Club emitting from those stars, including the Justice, the Hanged Man, and the Moon. Most of the light points echoed with the prayers from the residents of the Moon City. Together, they created an image that enveloped the grey fog, that looked at the world with pity. The image of an extremely high-level and secret existence. The two abnormalities reflected on Klein's body, causing his left body to be covered in the greyish-white fog, and a slight smile showed on his face that had deep-set eyes. His right body fractured yet again, turning into a cluster of translucent squirming maggots and bloodshot eyes filled with madness. At that moment, the right side was constantly corroded to the left, and the greyish-white fog compressed to the extreme. With no hesitation, he raised his left hand with some difficulty, and summoned the white bone scepter with blue gems. Circling the sea god scepter were prayer points of light. With the help of this medium, they were transferred onto Klein's body. Lightning bolts leapt out from the right side of the body as invisible winds and illusory waves swirled around him. They helped the greyish-white fog withstand the contamination from his left, allowing his entire body to come into a delicate balance. At this moment, Klein recovered bits and pieces of his humanity and memories, making an initial recovery back to the state before the consumption of the potion. He had advanced to Sequence 2, now had the level and the status of an angel. A true miracle invoker. Originally, the Sephira Castle was about to be stirred by the change, but with a thought, all the abnormalities returned to normal. He said, nah, I'd win, and the Grey Fog was like, shit, you're right, never mind, I apologize. This proved that he had truly gained control of Sephira Castle and had become the owner of the Sephira. As for how much power he could unleash in the real world, he was still unable to estimate it. Thankfully, I made the history represented by the City of Silver return to reality, and it's powerful enough. If the ritual's effects were a little weaker, I would have lost control and collapsed here. Bro, you've been saying this since Volume 5. Or sorry, since your Sequence 5. You're fine. Klein rubbed his temples and exhaled. He finally had a better understanding of anchors. The anchors wasn't a tool to help him maintain his humanity. Its main purpose was to form a corresponding understanding, positioning, and image, one that would resist the mental imprint within the characteristic so as to maintain an intricate balance. You want me to get Are you out of your fucking mind, Zaza? What do you think this is on? Under this balance, Klein could then barely maintain his humanity and not be severely affected by other influences. In other words, the deities and believers knew were different from actual deities. Without the imprint within the characteristic to resist the influence, the image of the deities in their hearts would envelop the true appearance of the deities. This was also a type of corruption. Only at this moment did Klein realize that the Orthodox deities went from having a humanoid statue to simply having emblems. This prevented the believers from having a unified impression of them. Oh, this is why in like the third epoch or whatever, or the fourth epoch, there used to be statues, but then they collectively figured out like, oh, this is worse. So hold on. So the way I interpreted that was when all deities have when a lot of believers have one collective understanding of the deity morphs into that understanding instead of actually being themselves. So having it be more illusory and having everyone kind of have a different version of that deity allows them to maintain their own lucidity. Is that fair? To be Hero X system. Yes, exactly, Afterlease. That's what I was thinking too. This was also a type of corruption. This improved the effects they had as anchors to resist the remnant mental effects of the primordial one, whilst also not subtly changing their bodies. As for why the Orthodox deities took one or two epochs to figure this out, Klein had a couple of reasons. First, the past image of the Orthodox deities for comparison. He had Roselle's diary as reference, and the corresponding mysticism knowledge to provide inspiration. Secondly, the mythical creature form of a seer was all about being split and separated, making him very sensitive to such things. Hey there, did you know, if you become a member, you shouldn't see them anymore? So I've heard. I'm not saying you do that, I'm just saying. This sort of balance isn't too stable, and it often tilts to a certain degree. It will cause problems with my conditioned stability. From time to time, it will effectively be avoided. Also, when I'm in a delicate balance, I should try my best to show my humanity, to strengthen myself. This is commonly chosen by many angels. The Rose School of Thought's Indulgence faction could also be considered to be doing the same. Do ads give you money? Technically yes, but no, Seer. Because almost every stream we end up using some kind of copyrighted music, so on streams I make no money. Other than like memberships and like super chats and that sort of stuff. Wait, hold on, let me read that again. Okay. Could it be that the mythical creature that's born with the uniqueness itself has the will of the primordial one fused with him? Ahmad is long accustomed to being half crazy. No, that's not his normal state. It's the image that arose from the referendum of every Amon. Autumn, how's it going, man? That's a line of thought. I can form a marionette group and make every marionette a believer of the fool. In addition, with my truest appearance as a deity, I can effectively provide the best anchor. It's no wonder that Zaratul and the Dark Demonic Wolf don't have any believers. Once the residents of the City of Silver switch faith to the Fool, I can consider separating the embodiment of the sea god from myself, making it no longer one of my anchors. This greatly contradicts the beliefs and understanding of my other believers. They can't truly be united. But I thought it was okay for Klein to be separated because a seer is like worms. They're supposed to be like kind of different things anyway. So wouldn't that be okay for him? When he became a miracle invoker and became him, as well as becoming the owner of Sephira Castle, he no longer needed to take 4 steps counterclockwise and recite the incantations or get all members of the Tarot Club to pray. He can now easily return. Oh, as the true owner, he can just be like, Sephira Castle, done. However, he seemed incapable of expressing the full powers of Sephira Castle. He could only enter with his spirit body, unable to bring his physical body along. So that probably means next, when he becomes sequence 1, he'll be able to bring his physical body, which means he could probably bring the Sephira Castle to him to a degree and just augment him in reality and just be way fucking stronger. So like at sequence 1, he would probably be reaching King of Angel level strength, kind of. After sitting in the seat of the fool, Klein wasn't in any rush to check on the changes in Sephira Castle. He first confirmed the advancement and digested the knowledge he had obtained. The Beyonder power of a miracle invoker comes from two different aspects. One is the greater utilization of the Fog of History, and the other is the newly enhanced core power of wishes. Ultimate defense, who's breaking this up? Yeah, exactly. Ultimate, the best offense is the perfect defense. I'm like, okay. You can just keep attacking me forever, bro. I got a Sephira. What the fuck you thought this was? One, using the help of my past Worms of Spirit to revive myself. It will be ineffective after 4 times. I've already used it 3, so I can only revive 1 more as a Miracle Invoker. What? The previous ones count? How? I wasn't even a Miracle Invoker! I thought that was just a gift! Bro, come on, you're counting those? Come on! Once I advance to Tentative Mysteries, there should be a corresponding increase in this number. 2. I'm able to exert some influence on the future, causing the probability of certain things to increase or shrink to a certain extent. It's equivalent to interfering with my fate of the target. I'm finally wielding good luck, but this aspect is still different from the die of probability. 3. Summoning from the historical void is no longer limited to just items. It can be scenes I'm familiar with. What? So can Klein just be like, I remember Foggy Town, and then put the enemy in Foggy Town and be like, I'm gonna leave you in here for like 10 minutes. I'm gonna go do some stuff. I'll be right back. I will kick your ass after. But like, I just need to go get a couple things real quick. I'll be right back, okay? You chill here. Would he do that? That'd be based. Yes, the total number of items and scenes I can summon is now 9, but only 3 of them can be at the angel level. Oh shit! I can summon 3 angels, 6 saints? Alright bro, we're about to go kick some ass. Wishes already make it a standard deity's ability, but it's a little strange. Only by fulfilling someone else's wish can I fulfill my own. A small wish must be granted before a bigger wish can be gradually granted. What? You are telling me even gods have like certain, like, hey, I need you to make like tier 3 wishes, and I need you to make 3 of them before I can upgrade you to tier 2 wishes. I need to make 7 of them before I can upgrade you to tier 1 wishes? What the fuck is going on here? I remember. Varshan, okay. I don't actually know. So I have always heard from people that as a member, you should get like 1 ad right when you first start the stream, but then you shouldn't get it after. I don't actually know. I've just heard from like most people in chat that happens to be the case. I don't know for sure though. I got no fucking clue, okay? Yeah, actually, like, why the fuck do gods have contribution systems? Like, you're telling me Klein needed to pray to the Evernight Goddess for, like, easy stuff early, and then you can pray for harder and harder stuff later? That's crazy. Klein believed that the wishes system could be used freely as long as it didn't exceed a limit. To his surprise, the effects didn't solely come from the characteristic. Hold on, I gotta turn on my fan. It's getting hot in here. There we go. To put it simply, a miracle invoker needed to seek out and satisfy all kinds of wishes before they could make wishes and personally grant them during battle, turning the corresponding situation into reality. But this is based for... This is so easy for Klein because he's a god. So like everyone's gonna be like, Mr. Fool, can I get some help? And he's like, wish granted, wish granted. And like when he goes into battle, even against Zaratul, he's like, oh, I've got 400 wishes that I've got saved up. Bitch, you ready for this? I wish for Leodero to beat your ass. I wish for Amenasis to scythe you in the back. Get fucked, loser. I wish for Bladel to come back from the ground and just stab you from the earth. Get fucked, loser. Ha. Gotcha. Speaking of which, the wishes... I know everyone's gonna go, you can't use powers at that level. Yeah, I fucking know. It's a joke. Chill. Speaking of which, the wishes ability resembled an anchor. It's a type of collective ability, since the faithful understanding of deities can effectively affect the deities and become a certain definition of them, helping them resist the primordial one's mental imprint in the characteristic. In the same way, similar wishes of different creatures with spirituality can indeed help me create a miracle. Did I? Oh, yes, I did. Yes. If I want to use Kotar's wishing method to teleport, I have to first satisfy many similar wishes. It comes from others, from simple to more difficult wishes. I do have a solution in this aspect. I can use Creeping Hunger and the Staff of the Stars to fulfill wishes. There's no need to start from simplest. You want me to get to 1290? Are you out of your fucking mind? This might be related to the Sea of Collective Subconscious, but it's not scientific enough. But it's fairly mystical. After figuring out the situation of the Wish's ability, Klein had an idea on how to act. This was to walk the real world as the most powerful magician. He would allow different people to witness a miracle and satisfy their wishes. Is this going to be a new identity? Is it going to be like a wandering magician? It's like a child comes up to them, he's like, I really wish I could run, but I broke my leg when I was 4. And the doctors say it will never heal properly. And he's like, the doctors ain't shit, homie. You gotta cough up the cash first. Nothing's for free. Cough up the cash. But I got you. It's no wonder Kotar's original title was the God of Wishes. When such a belief spreads, many people would use this method of praying to voice out their wishes, allowing the miracle invoker to respond from afar. Kid took it. I used to be an adventurer, but then I took an arrow to the knee. This makes acting so much simpler. It can save a lot of time, but the problem is that the potion's name is Miracle Invoker, not God of Wishes. The role one needs to act is that of a deity, but there are still some differences. I can roam the countries and let different people witness miracles while using the Fool's name to satisfy some believers' wishes. I'll then see what's more effective. However, this isn't the only way to act as a miracle invoker. I still need to take the initiative to create miracles in real life. Leaving behind the corresponding legend, Klein tapped the edge of the table with his fingers as he muttered to himself. Dude, it all literally has to do with like a circus. Klein got this fucking spot on so long ago. This is basically just another upgraded version of like a magician again. Like Bizarro Sorcerer was the upgraded version of magician, but this is like an even upgrade. Instead of it being bizarre, I'm like a sorcerer that makes your wishes come true. Like, this is so goated. During his scrutiny of his own body moments ago, he realized that he had digested more than half of the potion, you bitch. After all, he had created miracles several times. He had even been revived 3 times. Of course, Klein believed that it was very coincidental that he could create a miracle and act in advance mainly because of Sephira Castle. Oh, holy sorcerer. That's actually kind of base, though. True, Afterlease. True. It's as though someone set me up. Klein sighed inwardly, but he didn't relax. Instead, he became angry and wary. This is crazy. Hold on. Ooh, so it seems to me either it's the primordial one or it's the old owner of Sephira Castle that's setting up Klein like to revive in his body. Like maybe as like the fool, if you die, you know how like as a Black Emperor, if you die, you can revive as long as one of your mausoleums is still existing. Maybe as the Fool, you can also revive as long as you can get someone to a sequence one of your pathway, and then you can revive in their body. But like, so like you can only, so like your consciousness is alive. You can like subtly influence concepts from the back, but like you can't physically do stuff because your body's gone or something. I don't know. As for who arranged it, he had a suspect. The mysteries that the ancient sun god mentioned, the existence suspected to be the celestial worthy of heaven and earth for blessing. Why not just revive normally? I don't know, bro. Have you seen this fucking pathway? They can't do anything normally. They're like such a pain in the ass. They're like, oh, ho, ho, ho. So, you would like me to teleport? Well, I could just do it simply, but instead, I'm gonna have a fire pillar. Why? Yeah. Fuck me, I guess. And what made Klein even more puzzled was that he advanced to sequence 2 and became an angel. The celestial worthy of heaven and earth didn't appear, nor did he awaken in his body after he experienced a qualitative change. This was completely different from what he had expected. There weren't any traces of it at all. Apart from the mental corruption from the primordial one, something will definitely arrive. It should be the spiritual imprint left behind in the characteristic. Could it be that the celestial worthy of heaven and earth and blessing has completely perished despite making all arrangements? He doesn't have the ability to influence me and revive in my body? If that's the case, I must thank him. Klein appeared on the grayish-white cloud and arrived in front of the strange door of light. Staring at the transparent cocoons hanging above, Klein extended his hand and touched the door of light. When he truly became the owner of the Sephira Castle, he had realized a fact when he returned. It was the strange door of light that was the core to this place, and it was the castle in the truest sense of the word, and this void belonged to the divine kingdom that Sephira Castle came within. Giving Nightwalker treatment to many people today? Bro, I love how Zazo's like, I need you to read 15 chapters in like 7 minutes, and then he's like, oh, excuse me, you're not actually reading my message. I feel so fucking hurt. Like, what the fuck? What do you want from me, bro? I can read a lot slower. We can go through chat one by one. I got no issues. What a fucking god. As for the ancient palace, the 22 high-backed chairs, the long bronze table, and the items that the members of the Tarot Club usually conjured, Klein believed that they were a manifestation of his wish's power. A miracle is something unexplainable, something beyond bizarre. I still think the most thing that Klein did that was like similar to a miracle was like when he was, I know it was bizarre also, but like when he was helping people heal after the air raid or whatever, I feel like if he didn't do that in the weird mask or whatever, he would just be a miracle invoker, because they would be like, because that child would just be praying like, Lord, please, if there's any way for me to get my leg back. You just do that in like a regular person uniform instead of being a fucking weirdo, and it's like you're a miracle invoker instead of Bizarro. Chillin'. In other words, back when, and we just ended a world war, which means there's a lot of people missing arms and legs, bro. Let's get on it. In other words, back when he wanted a palace and gathering place, Sephira Castle satisfied his wish. And because he didn't have a specific description of the wish, they extracted scenes from similar scenes in the past. Klein suspected that the ancient Greek palace and the 22 high-backed chairs were conjured by the existence suspected to be the celestial worthy. As he moved, Klein pressed his hand against the edge of the door. This time, his palm didn't pierce through it as he touched something corporeal. Suddenly, the door of light began trembling along with the cocoons. Above the grayish-white fog, there was only an ancient palace in the endless void. Numerous skyscrapers rose rapidly. Cars appeared one after another as pedestrians appeared. Excuse me? One of the residential districts, in an ordinary apartment, there was a window illuminated by an energy-saving bulb that wasn't bright enough. This was the old metropolis This was what the old metropolis from before the first epoch looked like before the disaster. The place Klein once lived in. Indeed, I can preliminarily use Sephira Castle's power. By relying on this point, I would already be close to the level of a king of angels when I'm above the grey fog. Oh my god. He's like, oh, Amon, you're so cooked, brother. Furthermore, the authority I show isn't only that of Miracle Invoker, but also a portion of Planeswalker and Trojan Horse of Destiny. If I were to return to the real world, apart from being able to further utilize Sephira Castle's aura, I'd be able to obtain a portion of its power. This would allow me to form a nascent divine kingdom and reach sequence 1 in here. Unfortunately, in reality, I can't use the high-level powers of a Marauder and Apprentice pathway. As Klein evaluated, he cast his gaze at the transparent cocoon hanging above the Door of Light. Oh my god. Klein is at, like, in my mind, doesn't that basically put Klein at the level of a king of angels? Like, doesn't that put him at the level of, like, Sasrier then? Because, like, I'm a king of angels of 3 pathways. Well, I would call that a king of angels, no? He ultimately didn't release the people inside. Yes, of course, only above the Grey Fog, of course. He ultimately didn't release the people inside. Wait, no. If I were to return to the real world... No. As Klein evaluated the situation, he cast his gaze at the cocoons hanging above. He ultimately didn't release the people inside, because they would definitely be used by Amon. After confirming everything, Klein returned to the ancient palace and sat on the chair of the Fool. He remembered that some of his memories were sealed, so he summoned a piece of paper from the junk pile. Upon opening it, Klein narrowed his eyes as he muttered to himself, the great old ones, the outer deities, cosmos, above the sequence. So that's how it is. So really, all that would need to happen is if you enter the Lord of the Mysteries world, you need to pray to Miss Justice. She needs to show up, seal your memories, and then you're like chilling, and you're like, you know what, I'll come back to this in like 3 years when I'm an angel. What is your Nagato? The message I sent, Romero sent like twice, we ignored it, I still... Okay. Klein then understood the rationale behind the Battle of Gods that had just ended. He understood the possible origins of the apocalypse and understood why the 7 deities had given tacit consent to the birth of the Black Emperor, and their indifference towards the Red Angel's evil spirit returned to the real world. From the information provided by Leonard and Miss Justice, Lone ultimately clenched victory, the Evernight Goddess and the Earth Mother coming in clutch as fuck, bro. Can you imagine? Like, your entire fucking country is like, maybe we should switch paths, maybe we should switch gods, because, like, we're losing and our shit's about to get... And the Evernight Goddess is like, alright, bitches, it's time for me to go do some shit. But I don't know what other conditions the goddess is lacking to become a great old one. I'll summon Arrodes later to inquire about the details. Earth Mother, whose identity has been unknown, had succeeded in acting as Ami Bella for thousands of years. It's impossible without the help of concealment. The goddess has been planning something like this since the 2nd or 3rd epoch? Is she more terrifying than Amon? It seems so. We just like her because she's on our side, but like, bro, if she was against us, this would be so cooked. Concealment can only hide traces of aspects. It can mislead the prying and divination attempts, making it impossible for others to don a disguise. As for Earth Mother, to be able to pretend to be Ami Bella without being suspected of the god of combat, there must be other factors. A particular existence helped steal the fate of the Giant Queen? At that time, there was only one person who could do so, the ancient Sun God. If that's the case, the goddess and ASG must have cooperated until the new creator awakened the primordial one in him. This could explain why the first existence that Sasrier sought out was the goddess. You just gotta spam call Adam's name. But what if Adam is like, yoink, you're dead. Because if Adam is a god at this point, he's gonna go, bitch, who the fuck are you calling my name? What are you gonna say? Like, hey, Adam, I used to be an old friend of your dad's, you know? He and I go way back. Can you help me out here? Old time's sake? I don't know. Ever since I obtained the uniqueness of the death pathway, the goddess has been setting up the trap. She wants to take over the numinous episcopate's artificial death faction and pretend everything is normal. But she didn't deal with the people or objects that might discover something was amiss, resulting in the leak of information. This way, in the eyes of the god of combat, the situation became the goddess trying her best to conceal the secret, but she couldn't due to the lack of digesting the uniqueness. After that, be it tacitly acquiescing to George III becoming Black Emperor or aid provided to me in destroying the ritual, the goddess doesn't care about the final outcome of the real world. Her main goal was to show that she didn't have the ability to interfere with the real world, deepening the impression that she was attempting to accommodate the uniqueness. So you're telling me she had probably already digested it for quite a long time, but she was putting on like a ruse to make everyone think she was weak, so that Bladel would be like, alright, I can beat her right now, she's weak, I've got this, and she's like, oh, you have fallen into my trap, you dumb bitch. To the god of combat, as he had a deeper understanding of the goddess, he definitely wasn't fully convinced in regards to this matter. Therefore, he chose to take it safe by first shaking the goddess's anchors, allowing her psyche to be corrupted. To him, this definitely made her divert a large portion of her efforts to resist the corruption before he chose to attack with the Earth Mother. She didn't start the digestion process, she just pretended? Oh, I see. Interesting. And it's because of this that he fell into the goddess's trap. In other words, the true goal of the goddess's various actions wasn't to lay a trap with the uniqueness of the death pathway, but to let the other deities place their focus on this and ignore the possibility there was something wrong with the Earth Mother. How terrifying. Klein sighed from the bottom of his heart. He felt that Adam and Amon were inferior to the goddess when it came to horrors. Klein shook his head and conjured a piece of paper and wrote, "Remember, you are a he and not a he." So he's a small h he, not a capital H he. So, ow, what the fuck? So Klein is like basically reminding himself like, hey, even though everyone else may think of you as an angel now, just remember that you are a god at heart, that you are a person at heart, basically. Is that fair? $12.70 wishing. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay. On the ship, the sea god and the members of the City of Silver were seated on chairs that didn't suit their size. They watched the dwarves around them warily. Like a regular 5'9", 5'10" person. They're like, this dwarf must not eat much. Unfortunately, he must come from a poor family who was unable to feed him when he was a child, resulting in a stunted growth. Of course, they knew that these were normal humans. After all, they all knew that their exaggerated heights were brought about by potions. But they still felt that the people of the ship were too short, including Lord Danitz, who called himself an oracle. After all, in the City of Silver, other than children and residents who had yet to reach a Sequence 6, had an average height exceeding 1.8 meters. The slight sway of the boat made the half-giants feel uncomfortable, but their strong physique helped them quickly overcome this influence. And the contrast between the sea and the lone boat beyond the window made them unable to contain their unease, fear, and anxiety. This was the first time they participated in such an expedition. Their surroundings seemed to have monsters lurking in the darkness that could attack at any moment. "Cho, man, how's it going, man?" At that moment, Danitz entered the room that had been transformed into a dining mess and said, "Your food is ready. You can enjoy your food as you please. By the way, do not forget what I just told you. These waters are very dangerous. There's no need to get up. You can stay in your seats." When Danitz saw that the young elder who introduced himself as Derek and the other half-giants wished to get up to speak to him in the most polite manner, he lowered his hands and stopped their uncivilized behavior. He's like, no, if you get up, I feel like a baby, so you sit your ass down, so we're like the same height, okay? When Danitz saw, if I was as tall as them, I would already become mocking the people around me, Danitz muttered. Danitz is like, bro, these people are so nice. If I was them, I would be like, oh, you short bitch, go get me some fucking wine. Music change at the end of this chapter. Alright, sounds good. What am I putting on, Kami? A strong fragrance immediately drilled into the noses of the residents of the City of Silver, the scent that they were familiar with when roasting meat-type mushrooms, an indescribable smell. A smell so alluring that everyone began to salivate. Desi-style roasted meat, Danitz pointed. He held a large steel plate that had a piece of roasted golden brown piece of meat glistened with oil. Steak pan, fried fish, white breads, seafood soup, and light beer, Danitz introduced. Don't worry about anything. Feel free to indulge. We have plenty of food reserves. It's in the music. Thank you, Kami. Okay. With that said, he glanced at the half-giants who seemed eager to stand up and left the room. Candace retracted her gaze from the food and said, Elder Derek, what do we do now? Their first real not mushroom food? Although Derek believed Mr. Fool's oracle wouldn't harm them, he habitually gave a cautious opinion, split into two groups. One group is to wait for their turn to eat, one team is to eat now. Alright, Elder Derek, Candace stood up and said, I apply to join the food tasting team. Dude, Derek is a much nicer leader than me. I would be like, you know what, guys? I will take the risk. All of you wait. I'm gonna eat all of this food. And then in like half an hour, if I'm okay, we'll order some more food and you guys can have that. Okay, really cool. A group of 10 people quickly formed. At the same time, Liavel and Candace walked to the long table near the wall and they took a portion of what they found most tempting and the so-called desi roasted meat. After taking a bite, the rich juices, the fragrance, and the pure meat mixed in a texture formed a complex, unique experience in their mouths. They could only chew twice before swallowing the food ravenously into their stomachs so as to take a second bite. Derek is a demigod, even if it's poison he wouldn't notice? No, he would probably notice, right, Doc? Like, he would probably not get, he wouldn't die, sure, but like, he would probably be like, wow, it's causing an upset stomach or something, no? After taking a bite of the food, the fragrance and the pure meat mixed in with the texture of complex, unique experience in their mouths. They could only chew twice before swallowing the food ravenously. This was so much more delicious than the mushrooms they had eaten before. Unknowingly, the 10 residents of the City of Silver were already tearing up. On the deck, Danitz looked at the safe sea route and the ruins of the Battlefield of Gods and considered the problem of Mr. Fool's flock. Suddenly, a sailor ran over and said, "Lord Oracle, they finished eating! They want seconds!" Where the fuck did these guys come from, Danitz thought. Prepare another set for them. Seeing that the sailor was about to turn around, Danitz said, "From tomorrow onwards, the crew is to begin fishing." He was like, okay, I didn't think they would eat that much. We need, yeah, we got food, like, we'll be fine, but, like, we need to start fishing, you know? In the Sonya Sea, on an uninhabited island, Klein had gotten used to his current state as he restrained his spirituality and planned on teleporting back to Backland and summoning Arrodes to ask some questions. Oh, no, but then he's not gonna go back to his previous persona as... Fuck, what was the rich guy's name? Fuck. Whatever. Are you telling me his what do you call it? His servants are like Dwayne Dantes, yes, thank you. Are you telling me his servants are like, damn, Mr. Dwayne is he's gone, eh? He wasn't exactly in a hurry to extract the residents of the Moon City to the outside world. He planned on waiting for Danitz to settle down the City of Silver's Vanguard unit. With sufficient experience, he would turn his attention to that matter. After all, the path to leading the Forsaken Land of the Gods had opened. He could use the method of responding to prayers to move, and the power and the Staff of the Stars to move the entire city out. He died in the war? You think so, Scar? You think they're just gonna pretend like he's just gonna pretend that he died? Oh, he did? Okay. Of course, if the door closed again, Klein had a solution. He would transfer the residents of the Moon City to the Giant King's residence and let them open the door themselves. Without the first blasphemy slate and Sasrir's spirit, ordinary Beyonders should be able to open the door. As for whether the true creator would interfere, Klein didn't consider it, because the true god was capable of doing so now. But he wouldn't stop him even if he was disagreeable to it. In addition, Klein believed that the focus of the true creator wasn't on this matter. He wanted to capture Amon and get the blasphemy slate back. Strictly speaking, this is a family drama, Klein lampooned. Just dad trying to get back his rebellious son, clearly. In the saturated, stacked spirit world, Klein rapidly moved through the indescribable figures as he approached the coordinates representing Backland. Suddenly, he came to a stop and stood in the chaotic void, looking at the 7 pure lights that occupied the highest spots. Previously, due to my low sequence, I didn't dare wander the spirit world, or attempt to visit the 7 lights, even though they had shown kindness to me. Now, it seems it is time we meet. The embodiment of knowledge, living through the spirit world for centuries. They must know quite a lot. Just as Klein thought this, a light appeared in front of him, an elder in an orange robe. Oh my god, Klein's gonna get so much info here! A conversation with the 7 lights? These guys know some stuff, probably. The old man was plump and had a short white beard. He looked very amiable. You're excellently. Please, allow me to introduce myself. You should remember me. I am Orange Light Hilarion. Bug, how's it going, man? Morpheus, how's it going? The last time I saw you, you were quite thin, Klein lampooned. You seem to have predicted that I would visit you, he asked. The spirit world itself is interwoven with all kinds of information. Some come from the past, some from the future, and some from the future. Whether divination or prophecy, most of the methods are using the spirit world, followed by the prying into the secrets of fate. Yeah, Hilarion, isn't this the greatest adventure since Emperor Roselle, the one who popped in to see Klein in the Bayam or whatever? And was like, oh, are you okay if I die at your doorstep? And Klein was like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? Engineer, yes, thank you. What orange light meant was that since Klein was in the spirit world and had the intention of visiting, and was taking the actions to do so, there would be an exchange of information, allowing the Seven Lights to get some knowledge of this. Klein wasn't surprised as he nodded. Other than you, does anyone else wish to visit me? He had originally planned on using honorifics, but instead, considering the Seven Lights' attitude and the way Orange Light addressed him, he gave up, so as to maintain the status of the proxy of Sephira Castle. Orange Light Hilarion smiled. All of them, Your Excellency. You don't mind, do you? Oh, we're about to get some information! All the Seven Lights are like, Your Excellency. It is our honor that you would grace us with your presence. Klein shook his head and replied, Of course, it would be my honor. As he finished speaking, different lights rose up around Hilarion, transforming into old men. Your Excellency, please allow me to do the introductions. This is a red light, Ayur Moria, a name we also knew. He then turned around and said yellow light Venethan, also a name we knew. Let me just open up my notes really quickly, because I'm sure we're gonna need those. Orange light. Yellow light Venethan. Blue light Kuthumi, green light Serapis, indigo light Isis? Isis? I won't read ahead, shut the fuck up. Alright, I got it. Saint Germain? What a goated name, excuse me? What a goated name. Yellow light Venethan, the one who made an apocalyptic prophecy regarding the Abraham's ancestors? Klein looked at the thin, long-bearded elder in a lemon-yellow robe and said, Let's sit down and have a chat. As he spoke, he raised his right hand. Dark red flames lit up the area, coming from a fireplace, burning high-quality charcoal. These flames immediately lit up a reclining chair, a grayish-yellow carpet, cupboards, sofas, coffee table, and cast sculptures, forming a classic Backland-style activity room. Please, take a seat. Klein, faced with the Seven Lights, smiled as he pointed to the sofa. After the Seven Lights settled, Klein sat on the chair, picked up a teacup, and said, To be honest, I've always wanted to pay you all a visit, but I just couldn't find a chance. Now, I've finally fulfilled this wish. This has also been our wish, Hilarion said. I have a feeling that I fulfilled someone else's wish, too. Klein was delighted as he probed. May I ask, what do you know of the cosmos, or should I say, the great old ones and outer deities? Music change, music change. Motherfuckers, I got it! Chill! A beautiful song? Kami was the thing? Beautiful song, yes. Good. See, I remember. Call me Unk all you want. I remember. This song? Really? This is so... Okay. What are we gonna get? Okay. May I ask, what do you know of the cosmos, or should I say, the great old ones? Isis, who wore a linen robe, looked relatively young, answered, Your Excellency, the great old ones eyeing our world are the mother goddess of depravity, mother tree of desire, son of chaos, primordial hunger, circle of inevitability? That's the name of book 2! Supernova Dominator, Inextinguishable Ravings, Monarch of Decay, and High Dimensional Overseer. Okay, hold on. How many is this? Mother Goddess of Depravity, Mother Tree of Desire, Son of Chaos, Primordial Hunger, Circle of Inevitability, Supernova Dominator, Inextinguishable Ravings, Mother, Monarch of Decay, and High Dimensional Overseer. That's all 9? So which of these would be the... So all 9 of the super gods are fuck me, old habits. All 9 of the great old ones are taken. Okay. Old habits, okay? Old habits die hard. So all 9 of these guys want to take over the world, and yet Earth is kind of like just like, but then so you're telling me, but then isn't Earth just cooked at that point? Because then what are the gods gonna do above the people of their own sequence? Like at that point you just lose, no? Motherfucker, stop. Okay, I'm putting this in my notes. Hold on. Calm yourselves. God damn it. Okay. Isn't that a little too many? Klein was stunned when he heard that. 1271. 7 lights. Okay, well the chapter ended, Pushkar, so what do you want from me now? Wait until this is over too. Fuck you, okay? Upon hearing Isis's reply, Klein's mind tensed up as he recalled the Crimson Moon, the Brown Planet, the Scarlet Planet, and the Blue Planet and the Gold Planet all looking down at him. Upon hearing a connection was established, the impending fatal corruption made all of Klein's worms of spirit feel an unease. As an angel in control of Sephira Castle, Klein had many ways to sever this connection. Firstly, he could use the status and strength of a complete mythical creature. Second, suppress his anchors using the mental imprint of the Primordial One left in him to offset it. Third, use the aura of Sephira Castle that he could now utilize further. Without any hesitation, he chose the simplest and most convenient method to not leave any dangers. A grayish-white fog appeared around him as all the celestial bodies' projections in his mind vanished. After being stunned, Klein organized his words and said, "There are that many outer deities?" Indigo light, Isis nodded. He touched the ruby ring on his right hand and nodded. Ever since the oldest one awakened and split apart, the most powerful outer deities in the entire universe gathered around this tiny solar system. Okay, outer deities. Is there like an inner deity? Is there a great old one of Earth who can try fighting him, bro? What is happening? Some of them wish to retrieve their Sephiroth and characteristics that were ripped from them and were attracted here. Some of them have the hope of getting a neighboring Sephiroth and high-level characteristics which they can accommodate. The oldest one, the 7th... So in my mind, the oldest one is another great old one that died. Theoretically, one that is looking to revive because he's like the protector of Earth? Is that like a dumb way of looking at that? I don't know. The oldest ones, the 7 lights, address me as the original creator as the oldest one, not the primordial one. In terms of the meaning, there isn't much difference. Klein deliberated and asked, Sephiroth and characteristics were ripped and attracted over? He could understand the rest of the words Indigo Light mentioned, and he had made even more speculation towards such a matter. There was just one point that caught him by surprise. Blue Light Kathumi, who was a symbol of the domain of cogitation and used love and wisdom as his characteristics of his true body, explained, Your Excellency, you shouldn't be unfamiliar with the law of characteristics convergence. Klein nodded. This isn't just a law of sequence pathways, but also suitable for describing the Sephiroth and characteristics related to the outer deities, especially the ones that were directly nurtured and created from the oldest one. For example, the mother goddess of depravity, the son of chaos, and the mother tree of desire. So those three all were created from the oldest one. As for the other outer deities, we aren't too sure. In short, the three great old ones who lost a portion of their Sephiroth and characteristics are most concerned and proactive to invading the real world. They've been trying to influence the spirit world and corrupt us. So, okay, so if the other 6 didn't come from the oldest one, so that could theoretically mean that could mean there's more, but they're not, because there's got to be some, because like there's got to be more. But I don't. But there's only 9 groupings of pathways. I don't know. I'm clutching at straws here, bro. I nodded slightly. In other words, a portion of the current 22 pathways and 9 Sephiroths belong to the outer deities? Yes, Saint Germain said, who symbolized the domain of ritualistic magic, took the opportunity to answer. When the total number of 22 pathways and 9 Sephiroth was reached, everything reached a balance. This may be the mysticism connection originating from the oldest one. What are they exactly? Klein thought. For example, the moon and the earth pathway belong to the mother goddess of depravity. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. I gotta write this down. I have to write this down. You guys can fuck off, okay? I have to write this down. What am I not going to? Fuck off. Okay? Moon and earth pathway belong to mother goddess of depravity. She is the existence that stands atop all outer deities? What? How is she so goated? Excuse me? Even after a portion of her Sephiroth, that is the brood hive, was ripped from her, that remains the case. She is the sovereign of all feminine forces in the universe. And just as Saint Germain said that, Greenlight Serapis laughed. In fact, after analyzing the 22 pathways, you will discover that the moon and the earth pathways are the 2 most contradictory ones. The Demoness pathway represents the oldest one's feminine side. The Red Priest pathway represents the masculine. This happens to form a deformed aspect of balance, but the moon and earth can also make Beyonders of the corresponding pathway turn into feminine creatures at high sequences. There is no pathway that balances it. Seeing Klein's eyebrows wince, Greenlight, who smiled. The Earth pathway sequence 2 is Desolate Matriarch. Excuse me? What is that name? That's so goated. Excuse me? The Earth pathway. Which one is the Earth pathway? Sorry, hold on. Which is the Earth pathway? I need someone to tell me quickly. What is the sequence 9 for it called? I can't remember. Oh, Planter. I'm stupid. Oh, no, not... Yeah, okay. Desolate Monarch. That is such a good name. And the moon pathway, sequence 1, is called Beauty Goddess. Goddess. So you're telling me the moon pathway will make you a... At sequence 1, you'll become a woman? Oh, Emlyn. You're so cooked, brother. You gotta stay at sequence 2 then. Therefore, the Sanguine only have queens and no male princes. This was the ancient goddess Lilith was originally a male and a female? Klein mumbled inwardly as he thought. The primordial moon is the mother goddess of depravity? Yes, Ayers, Moria said. She occupies the moon, and through her own level and influence on the brood hive and the uniqueness of the two pathways, she has gradually infiltrated reality. The primordial moon is her manifestation of the world. After saying that, Ayers Moria paused. Her full title is Mother Goddess of Depravity, Origin of Evil, the Indestructible, the Brood Hive of Filth. What? Your title is the Brood Hive of Filth? Bro, you couldn't have them make you like a more respectful one? Ew, disgusting. Ew, yucky. Ugh. She nasty, bro. Oh my god. Klein recalled the exaggerated reaction of the moon when he first learned of the secrets of the cosmos. The devil and the prisoner pathway come from the mother tree of desire? Yes. Oh, for fuck's sakes. By the way, it is desolate it is desolate matriarch. Oh, so even at sequence 2 you'll become a girl? Yes, her full name is the Mother Tree of Desire, Father to Devils, Perpetual Blatherer, the Heartless God. Therefore, she seized the opportunity when something happened to the Chained God and achieved her goal of corruption. Yeah, of course. Oh, that's Planter. Oh, that's Planter, not... Oh, that's Planter, sorry. Oh my god, that is such a cool title. What? Hers is like cool as fuck. It's not like Monarch of Filth. Ew, you're disgusting, madam. Take a shower. God. Mother, father, is that fellow a man or a woman? Yes, to an existence at that level, it's normal for there to be no distinction between the genders. Different incarnations have different images. She even wanted to bear a child for me. From the present state of the Chained God, if I had been caught, I'd probably be the one bearing the child. The child would inherit Sephira Castle, allowing the Mother Tree of Desire to corrupt and control the Sephira. Grand Siktar, what's up, man? Since there are so many outer deities, why have they not entered our world yet? From what Klein, does it have as much fights as AOT? Yes. I've been reading for the last 80 chapters and there's just been nothing but fights, okay? You should go now. There's a lot of spoilers for you. From what Klein had learned to date, he could guess that even if there were only Mother Tree of Desires, Mother Goddess of Depravity, and the Mother Tree of Desire, the outer deities could easily resolve existences like the former 7 deities, the True Creator, and the Primordial Demoness. Orange Light Hilarion said, "All our suffering comes from the Oldest One, and all our luck comes from the Oldest One as well." Not only did he leave behind his spirit will branding and corruption, but he also left behind the Sephiroth characteristics and power. The remnants of his power formed an invisible barrier outside the planet, preventing the outer deities from directly invading. But with the passage of time, his consciousness and powers haven't been revived. His will and power are fading. At the end of the 4th epoch, they reached a very serious state. The barrier produced cracks, and the 7 deities had no choice but to move their divine kingdoms into the astral world to mend the crack. Oh, that's why the 7 deities used to walk the world in the past, but no longer do, because now... So my guess was kind of right, that there's like something up there that they're like staying up there to fight against. They weren't fighting against, but like their very existence is like healing the cracks. Because like enough of the characteristics or whatever if the oldest one are there to sort of like produce like an effect of his power, of like his existence basically. Oh, okay. It's no wonder that the true deities from the fourth epoch could walk the land, but now rarely descend. Klein immediately came to a realization as he asked, when the oldest one's will and power decline further, will the barrier vanish and usher in the age of the apocalypse? Yes, Orange Light Hilarion said. When the time comes, the Mother Goddess of Depravity, Mother Tree of Desire, Son of Chaos, and all other outer deities would invade, and if the goddess becomes the Great Old Ones, she wouldn't be able to withstand so many of them. The other sequence zeros would be able to tie down one or two outer deities together, and that would be considered a miracle. It would take 9 to fight 1 or even more. No wonder such a thing was called the Apocalypse. Nah, my boy Klein would win. The delusion must remain, boys. No matter what happens, the delusion remains, okay? You gotta let me stay in my world, fuck you. The delusion remains. With the upheaval in his emotions, he felt the presence of the primordial one's imprint strengthen. Klein calmed himself and allowed the fragile balance to appear yet again. This is the reason why the corruption from the underground will naturally dissipate. As long as one doesn't approach it or resist it. Your Excellency, you are right, Orange Light Hilarion said. Does that mean that the closer one is to the apocalypse, the easier it is to advance because the primordial one's will is fading? His awakening will become difficult to the point of not awakening at all? That is the reason why the 7 deities have waited until recently to set their sights on above the sequence before taking concrete action. Oh, so these guys were... Oh, so even if the goddess wants, she could only prepare and like get the characteristics, but she couldn't do anything with it because the primordial one would awaken. Because his will would be... But now as his will weakens further and further and further, they can now take that... Oh, so they're getting like so little prep time to advance too. This is bullshit. It's like they have a numbers disadvantage and they don't even have prep time. This is dog shit. However, the oldest one's will can dissipate, but his spirit remains forever. It won't be erased unless the entire universe returns to a singularity. Therefore, the corresponding high-level existences still have the possibility of having the oldest one awaken in them. The higher the level, the greater the possibility. The corresponding influence and corruption will become more serious. Okay, maybe I'm just a huge pain in the ass. But like, why does no one take one for the team? Because if the oldest one appears, the entirety of Earth gets to survive. Because like, he could probably fight him. And like no one's willing to like take the loss for the team. Everyone's like, no, I gotta live. Oh my god. The extraordinary powers and curse that can never be broken will always have two sides of the same coin. Forcefully suppressing a problem that wasn't at his level, he asked, do you know the potion formula of the Attendant of Mysteries? Well, Amnesiac, even if he doesn't want to fight for the Earth, he would fight against the outer deities because they're trying to take his Sephiras. So he'd be like, nah, it's mine, bitch. It's mine. Get fucked. Klein suppressing a problem that wasn't at his level yet, he asked, do you know the potion formula for Attendant of Mysteries? Saint Germain replied, there is a mystery attached to such knowledge. It is not in the spirit world, but according to our observation, the ritual is closely related to the spirit world. Your Excellency, if you require anything at all, we will provide our full support, Hilarion said. This fervor makes me a little afraid, like facing Arrodes. Bro, how are you the 7 lights containing all knowledge and you don't know the fucking sequence 1 potion, the one that I need? You guys are fucking useless. After some consideration, he asked solemnly, "Do you know of the celestial worthy of heaven and earth for a blessing?" He translated the title using Elvish. Everyone fell silent. They looked at each other, but no one replied. After a few seconds, Hilarion sighed. "We still can't be sure if you're him. He was a great old one who had been active during the end of the previous civilization up to the mid-stages of the first epoch. He is the great ruler above the spirit world that we speak of." So the great ruler above the spirit world, the orange... sorry, what? The celestial worthy of heaven and earth was probably the old... was almost certainly the old fool. The celestial worthy of heaven and earth for blessing is his title in the Western continent. The other title is King of Space and Time, Beacon of Destiny, Embodiment of Sephira Castle, Dominator of the Spirit World. Oh my god, that is so hard. Dominator of the Spirit World, and... no shot! And Orange Light paused and said, "Lord of the Mysteries." Oh my god! Oh, it was just 1 sequence higher. It was just 1 sequence high. I kept thinking it was... and you thought it was gonna be the sequence 0 of the full pathway. It's the above the sequence of the seer pathway. Oh, so clever. You clever bitch, Cuttlefish. You clever bitch. End the stream right there. Roll credits. Oh, that's why everyone kept muttering mysteries. Because no one's going to call him Lord. Like, the ancient sun god is not going to call anyone Lord. But he's like, "Hey, mysteries, what the fuck are you up to?" Oh. Oh. What the fuck did I just do? Mysteries. Oh, I'm not calling you Lord, but hey, mysteries, fuck are you up to, huh? Ah, clever boy. You clever boy. The King of Space and Time, Beacon of Destiny, Embodiment of Sephira Castle, Dominator of the Spirit World, Lord of the Mysteries. So the mysteries mentioned by the ancient sun god refers to Lord of the... What do you think of his honorific name? That is so hard, dude. Beacon of Destiny? That is actually like everyone is saying, like, bro, when everything falls apart, you pray to the Lord of Mysteries, and he will bring thy to the promised land. And that's literally what he did to the City of Silver. Oh my god, I wasn't even thinking of that, but that worked so good. That worked so fucking good. That was so good. You're like, oh, when all hope is lost, you pray to the fool, and he will bring you to the promised land. Oh, true. How'd you rate that honorific name? So good. 10 out of 10. The goddess of filth, solid 6.5. He immediately thought of a question and hesitated before asking. Based on what I know, a long time before the last civilization ended, the celestial worthy of heaven and earth for blessing had already appeared. Everyone exchanged looks as Venethan sighed and said, "We weren't aware of that. The previous civilization came to an end. The 7 lights from before were wiped out and the oldest one awoke. We were the pure lights that were born from the spirit world during the first epoch." So wait, would Lord of the Mysteries be considered an outer deity as well? Because it's above the sequence? Oh fuck, I need to add a different... Oh my... I need to add a whole nother piece of shit. Oh, I need to add a whole nother... fucking thing to my... I need to change my whole piece of shit. Notes. God damn it. We were the pure lights that were born from the spirit world during the first epoch. Let me read. Shut the fuck up, guys. First, we have some guesses about the great ruler above the spirit world. Perhaps this can answer your question. We suspect that some of the great old ones that were active in the first epoch were outer deities who were directly attracted to this planet. Some of them came alive as Sephiroths. In other words, some great old ones were equivalent to the oldest one, embodiments of the different personalities he split into. So, okay, you know what? I'll ask my questions later. Let me just write it in my notes so I can ask you questions later. Okay, hold on. Okay, shut the fuck up. Okay. As most of the Sephiroth characteristics are from the Supreme Existence, there are natural inclinations of convergence. The oldest one is the amalgamation of all contradictions in the universe. Once the Sephiroth characteristics are gathered, it will almost certainly separate. I'm actually getting bullied, Klein, man. It's crazy. Is this the crux and origins of the law of convergence and characteristics? The genie is an unlucky outer deity who got attracted to this world only to encounter the Lord of the Mysteries? I nodded slightly as he didn't interrupt. Oh, so someone came here and was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking yoink something from this world, and Lord of the Mysteries is like, not today, bitch, get fucked. Dressed in a yellow robe, Venethan glanced at Klein and said, perhaps the oldest one has already had some inclinations towards separating while asleep. Therefore, his mind was split into different parts. He used different titles to interfere with the real world and prepare for the separation that was bound to happen once his spirit body awoke. Once his body woke up. For example, God Almighty or Celestial Worthy. A reasonable guess, Klein thought. In other words, you believe that the great ruler of the spirit above the spirit world was a part of the oldest one, to a certain extent equivalent to the oldest one. That's right, Hilarion said. Based on the present situation, the great ruler is the same one as the rest of the oldest one. His will and powers have faded over time. Regardless of whether you are him or not, it doesn't hinder you from putting up a certain level of resistance. Keep what is left of your humanity and reach a balance with him. Separation is inevitable. What kind of consolation is that? Klein couldn't help but lampoon. So they're saying like, hey, he's probably gonna awaken in you, but like, you can put up resistance, and if you keep who you are really stern, you can probably kind of reach a balance with him. Okay. Oh, Klein is gonna... oh god, Klein is so cooked. Bro, can this man get a happy ending to save his fucking life? Oh my god. Since the oldest one dissociated in different parts, the mental imprint and the body of a high sequence beyonder of the corresponding pathway should belong to different great old ones. If the primordial one which awoke in the ancient sun god's body is the God Almighty, as described by the seven lights, who would the primordial imprint be that's eating at me? The answer to this was obvious. The Lord of the Mysteries, the celestial worthy of heaven and earth for blessing. In other words, it wasn't that the celestial worthy of heaven and earth for blessing hadn't left any traces as he had previously believed. He had already awoken in Klein's body. What? He had already awoken? Fuck. Klein's entire body turned cold as he experienced what the ancient sun god previously felt. At that moment, he was worried that one day he would unknowingly become another person, becoming the resurrected Lord of Mysteries. However, an awakening at this level is similar to what other angels have encountered. It's not as strong and irresistible as I imagined. This is because I'm different from the ancient sun god. I wasn't born with the status of an angel or in control of a uniqueness. I advanced bit by bit and was able to complete the digestion at different stages. If that is the case, I must thank the Grey Fog that sent the curtain to the Forsaken Land of the Gods. Perhaps this involved the help of a particular or several existences. Huh? No, that's still not right. I've already become the owner of Sephira Castle. There's no reason for the corruption and contamination I suffer to be the same as other Sequence 2 angels. To him, this was one of the core secrets. He definitely couldn't let other existences know his current state. He said, I roughly understand. Thank you for your answers. It was our pleasure, Your Excellency. The Seven Lights stood up at the same time. Are they trying to curse at me? Klein teased himself as he sent away the 7 pure lights. Following that, he activated teleport again and arrived at a secluded alley in Backland. Pressing his top hat on his head, Klein strolled down the street. The first thing that caught his eye was a crowd of people and the hustle and bustle that formed a heat wave. Some people were wearing linen clothes, sawing down tall trees. Some were formed a team, busy repairing the streets and houses that didn't suffer too much damage. Some held food and iced tea in their hands, rushing past as though they were rushing to their work. Although most people wore simple clothes with plenty of visible stitches, there were still signs of numbness and pain on their faces. Like grass that tried their best to tear through stones after a cold winter. Sag. Big Sag. Although he hadn't seen the tragedy in the later stages of the war, he had learned plenty from Miss Justice and Leonard. He had previously been traveling in even darker, more repressed Forsaken Land of the Gods. But now, spring had arrived. Spring had arrived because the war is over, and even better, spring has arrived because the Lord of Mysteries is here. Bro, that is such a hard name. Excuse me? The Lord of... Oh my god, I know so much now. I'm so goated. I know everything. I understand. I get it now. Klein walked through the streets and alleys that were rebuilt after the war, all the way to the St. Samuel Cathedral. The square was filled with potholes. The workers were doing the first round of cleaning. A small flock of pigeons arrived and landed in this once familiar area. Artist outer deity name? Okay, now we can probably do it, because now we're probably not at... Let me find it. Let me find my list. Okay, Mother Goddess of Depravity, Mother Tree of Desire, Son of Chaos is hard as fuck. Circle of Inevitability, Supernova Dominator, Inextinguishable Ravings, Monarch of Decay. Monarch of Decay. Monarch of Decay. That one for sure. Klein looked around but didn't find any hawkers. All he could do was use his historical projections as food and scatter it across the floor. Looking at the sacred emblem that was the crimson moon surrounded by stars, Klein took off his hat and closed his eyes. He gradually calmed down, feeling as though he was really praying. Why is Mother Goddess of Depravity the best outer deity name, and why is she goated? She isn't, and she isn't, and it isn't. Hope that answers your question. At this moment, Leonard, with much longer, dark hair, green eyes, walked down the aisle in a black trench coat and red gloves. In absolute silence, Klein opened his eyes, put on his hat, and walked past Leonard. When he reached the door, Leonard got up and followed behind. One after another, they arrived at the corner of the square. Leonard looked at the few pigeons and said, I'm already a high-ranking deacon of the Nighthawks. In another 2 days, I will return to the Holy Cathedral and obtain a corresponding holy artifact. In the final stages of the war, Leonard had advanced at the front lines to a Sequence 4 Night Watcher. Let's go, baby! What are we at? So Klein's an angel. Alger's a demigod. Audrey's a demigod. The sun is a demigod. Emlyn is a demigod, Hermit is a demigod, and Leonard is a... We have 7 demigods in the Tarot Club now. Fours might also be one, but I doubt it. Although it's possible. You don't seem to be too happy, Klein asked. I have no right to be unhappy, Leonard asked. I was just thinking that the Battle of the Gods ended so quickly, and the result was so unexpected. Does it mean that the previous defeats and difficulties everyone suffered was nothing but bait? Before today, I shared your views. I was also puzzled and frustrated. But now, I'm just a little lost. This might have been a necessity. I didn't hide his feelings. Leonard fell silent. That's what the old man said too. Without waiting for Klein to say another word, he turned his head and said, "You've become an angel?" Alez told him that what Klein had done previously was perhaps to prepare for his advancement. Yes, but there isn't any glory or power, only pain and curses, and responsibility. Why? Leonard couldn't help but ask. No, Nugget, so no night stream this week, okay? Son of Chaos, Orphan of the Skin. Orphan of Cause? After a few steps, he turned his back to Leonard and muttered, "You should still remember that sentence. We are guardians, but also a bunch of miserable wretches that are constantly fighting against threats and madness." Leonard was taken aback. For a few seconds, he turned to look at Klein, but all he could see was Klein's back, which was just about to disappear on the corner of the street. With a whoosh, the pigeons on the ground flew up into the light blue sky. How funny would it be if Klein made the pigeons on the ground into a marionette and made it fly at that moment to give him a cooler exit? He's just like, actually, like, I could just leave, but like, this is way cooler. Like, I mean, yes, one dead pigeon, but like, I get a way cooler exit out of it. Hey, the pigeon may not be eternal, but the aura is, okay? He did that and then wished them back to life. Nah, he can't. No, Romero, he hasn't made any wishes come true. He can't make his own wishes come true yet either. Oh, Lesnio, I would totally do that. Just keep aura farming for no reason. Just like wake up and just be like, you know what would be really cool? If, like, you know, the bakery worker like 3 kilometers away, yeah, he has a family and it's really sad, but if I make him into a marionette, he could just bring me some like hot pastries right now and I wouldn't even have to leave bed. Is it mean because his family loses a person? Sure, but I get a great breakfast in bed. Hear me out. Dude, I would be a fucking menace. Klein didn't visit Benson and Melissa because the matters he was involved in were at too high a level. Approaching his siblings would only bring them disaster. For existences who didn't know what Klein's original identity, such acts would help them understand the relationship between Benson and Melissa and Klein. This would make them confirm one thing: Klein maintained his humanity and was still concerned for his family. Just pull from the fog, bro. And then it disappears? What am I supposed to do? But then you get hungry right away. Like, you finish it, like 10 minutes in, it's digested, and then you're done. What are you supposed to do? Well, listen, I'm saying I am super empathetic, okay? It's really sad. I would probably drop by, give the family like a bunch of money, and I'd feel really bad. But like, I might do that. Like, I'm not gonna say all the time, but like one day, you know, you wake up, you're really tired, and you're really hungry, but you don't want to get out of bed. You're like, I'm an angel. Mere humans mean nothing to me. Well, how's it going, man? Oh god, I'm a bad person. Of course, Klein had already grasped the situation of his siblings through misjustice. During the historical void money... Oh my god! Quantum! You could go deposit like $10,000 in like historical void money. It gets deposited, they give you a receipt. It stays real for like half an hour. And then it just... And then it's just gone. You're like, bro, listen, I gave you the money, okay? What you did with it, not my problem. As someone who's worked at a bank, theoretically, if you could make like disappearing money, this would work. During the war, Benson had displayed this experience and ability to the Ministry of Finance. He received many promotions and became deputy director. His annual salary reached £300? That's like £6 a week, I guess. That's not too much, but like it's like decent money. Melissa won favor of her mentor, Portland Momon, and was given a chance to become a Beyonder. No, don't. No, don't become a, no, stay away. Don't, this life. Stay away from this life, Melissa. Just be a good person. Just be a person. The Chancellor of the Backland University was a believer of the god of steam and machinery, so he had long become a Beyonder, a Sequence 7 appraiser. He wished for Melissa to become a Sequence 9 savant so she could better absorb the knowledge and improve her memory. This was Melissa's secret, but she wasn't able to hide from a spectator at the demigod level. And Audrey definitely informed Klein that Melissa was more inclined to agree. Klein's attitude of this was a tacit acquiescence. On one hand, the spiritual perception enhancement gained from a savant pathway advancement was limited. Melissa wouldn't really see or hear what she shouldn't. On the other, with the impending apocalypse, the madness caused even by low sequence potions would increase. Furthermore, there was him at a miracle invoker to help lower the risk of losing control. Alright. For an avid fan of machinery, Sequence 9 savant is plenty. Mamont shares the same attitude. He doesn't wish for a believer of the Evernight to have too many potions of the Church of Steam. The apocalypse is approaching and the barrier is weakening. The intrusion of this world by the outer deities will become more and more obvious. The chances of ordinary people encountering Beyonders will increase as well. In this sense, it is good for Melissa to be a Beyonder. If she can advance to Sequence 6 artisan or machinery specialist, she can fulfill her dream and protect Benson and herself. Fuck that. I would be like, listen, you want to become a Beyonder? You do that. Worried about protecting? Fuck that. You've got an angel... Fuck angel. You've got basically a king of angel brother. You don't worry about protecting the family. I got it. Don't worry about it. Klein's a good person. I'll get Miss Justice to find an opportunity and disclose the acting method to Melissa discreetly. The extent of her growth will depend on her. All I can do is wish her some luck and some formula and ingredients, I guess. I'm really an older brother who just can't rest easy, huh? Wait, Melissa definitely wishes for Klein to come back. If I were to walk in front of her, would I receive feedback? No. Forget it. This will bring her and Benson a devastating disaster. He pressed his hat, turned towards the hotel by the streets, and took out a gold pound. The gold pound was real, an item that Klein had bought in the real world some time ago. In the previous war, Klein had donated 14,800 pounds? God of Steam and Machinery. Alright, Klein, so what we need to do is we need to become a Sequence 0. We need to kill the God of Steam and Machinery. He's like the newest of the gods, okay? He's easy work, no problem. He's got no experience. We're chilling. And then we bring Melissa up to be God of Steam and Machinery. And then we just gotta get Benson up through the Black Emperor pathway. I feel like lawyer would suit his personality type quite well. And then we can do that, okay? and then we've got just an art, and then we've got a family of gods. 14,200 pounds worth of gold bars and nearly 20 high-quality gems through Misjustice. He only had 39 lone gold coins and 10 high-quality gems left. Bro, he has no money? He's poor again? Glancing at the hotel owners, a returning change in Sola and Penny, Klein put them away and entered the room. On the heels of that, he walked to a full-length mirror and summoned Arrodes. Is he poor again? Oh my god, Dr. Z, you're so right! Fuck tacit agreements, we want explicit agreements. Klein and the goddess of horror? Oh my god. They would become unstoppable. I love how... okay, wrongs. Why would he need money? You guys remember, like, when I was still in, like, volume 1 or 2, I was like, damn, like, demigods must be, like, rolling in money. And they're like, you don't even fucking understand, okay? A demigod is, like, they could buy whatever they want because there's nothing in the universe that can stop them from doing whatever. Now that we're a fucking angel, Wrongs comes to me and says, why would he need money? Money's social construct. Get the fuck out of here. The full seconds and minutes passed, but nothing happened. A full-body mirror remained silent. A few seconds later, Klein chuckled and raised his eyebrows, took out a gold coin from his pocket. A steam locomotive that was spewing thick smoke tore through the rail, heading through the western continent. The disheveled Eikenzer and a machinery hive mind member stood at the edge of a particular carriage as they focused on the cage in front of them. The metal spikes above the cage extended outwards in all kinds of menacing ways. The hive mind member, who had the looks of a typical Loanese citizen, looked out the window and said, and he could not but ask, Deacon, are you planning on returning to Lone after reaching Intes? After the war ended, the Church of Steam, who had taken the wrong side, had no choice but to bear the consequences of its actions. It had to transfer all Beyonders above that of Demigod and artifacts above grade 2 out of Lone within a certain amount of time, set by the churches of Evernight and Storm. Dude, I love how Church of Storm really didn't do much, but he came out looking like an absolute G. Like, they're telling, like, the god of Steam and Machinery, like, get your dog shit out of here. Do you understand? Do you understand that you are fucking worthless? Leave our territory. And he did fuck all. He just kind of came out looking like an absolute G. Was it mentioned how many marionettes Klein can have? No. In other words, they lost their original status. In the future, they could only maintain a small number of cathedrals, like the Earth Mother in Lone. The Earth Mother doesn't even get to expand. Well, I guess it's hard for them to expand because they were on the wrong side technically too. But all the same, it's not fair. She did a lot. If it weren't for the fact that there were too many people who believed in the god of Steam and Machinery, some of them being key figures in the reconstruction efforts, they might have not received even such treatment. After all, a small number of cathedrals only required a small number of hive mind members. Most of Beyonders in Lone had to migrate to Intes. Eikenzer fell silent. I need to heed the Archbishop's agreement, or I will take the initiative. But I will take the initiative to request a return to Lone. That is where my teenage and my young adult life was. Too many memories I cannot forget. Earth Mother has a whole country to herself? Which country, Romero? What? Fainapotter? Oh, like in Fainapotter, they're not allowed to have any other churches at all? The Earth Mother rules with the Iron Fist? They're like, if you believe in anything else, get out. As he spoke, his gaze grew distant. Wait, actually? Like, they're not allowed to have any other churches? At this moment, the metal cage that was overgrown with spikes suddenly trembled. Silver bolts of lightning appeared out of nowhere and landed on one after another. They were all absorbed by the metal cage and through a few wires wrapped in rubber. Shit, okay, cool. The metal cage seemed to be hit by an invisible hand, but it was unable to break the barrier. The magic mirror's reaction is quite intense. It's always been very quiet in the past, the Hive Mind member said. Amidst the banging, Ikenzer touched his hair. That's not the case. It will sometimes show its crazy side. As for what had happened, we would have... if it wasn't for what had happened, we would still treat it as a Grade 2 artifact. Is that so? I haven't come into contact with it before, so it might just be me, but it feels like the magic mirror doesn't want to leave Backland. The Hive Mind member sighed. Is Klein gonna walk in and be like, yoink? That's actually for the Tarot Club now. You guys have heard of us. I know you've been investigating us. I am here in the flesh to let you know this is ours. Yoink. Lightning struck and was absorbed by the metal cage over and over and over, making it as though it was making its last helpless cry. Ikenzer took out an old exquisite pocket watch and opened it. It only lasted 2 minutes. It is quite good this morning. Just as the Hive Mind member who had been transferred was about to ask, he heard a slamming sound stop, as though it was being affected by some kind of factor. Is this the style of the magic mirror? He asked. Ikenzer frowned. No. Normally speaking, it wouldn't have the strength to last 20 to 30 seconds. Something is wrong. Deacon, don't worry. There's a powerful figure on this train who outranks the archbishops. Oh, where are we about to get Klein having a face-off with an angel for the first time? That'd be too... There were too many dangerous artifacts on the train. Without a powerful figure watching them, there would almost certainly be problems. Ikenzer nodded, saying that he wasn't worried. Klein was sitting in a conjured carriage in a hamlet path more than 10 kilometers away from the locomotive. In front of him was a mirror. Just as he finished outlining the symbol, a line appeared on the mirror. Exalted Great Master, you're finally here! Your puny, loyal, poor servant Arrodes missed you greatly. Ugh. If Arrodes' previous attempts to curry favor still maintained a hint of dignity, it was now completely fawning over him. The frequency of amorous news popping up in the Trier is far higher in Backland. It should be a place you're fond of, Klein teased. That's because you don't wish to go to Trier, the golden words appeared. Klein clicked his tongue. I have something to ask you. Please, ask. Do you know who the Earth Mother is? I don't know. But during the War of the Gods, I heard a voice coming from deep within the tenebrous heaven. He shouted a name, the true name of the sanguine ancestor. It is Lilith. Klein was surprised, but he felt that this answered so many of his questions. He then thought of Emlyn, this vampire who kept going in circles, imagining all kinds of things. If Emlyn had Anderson's personality, he would come to say that the Sanguine's Grand Duke and Marquis, hey, aren't you gonna believe in the Mother Goddess? It's your turn to ask, Klein then said. Supreme Master, please continue asking. I'll ask it all at once towards the end. So Arrodes can just make up his rules however. He doesn't even need to do like a one-to-one. He can just be like, hey, I have a really big favor. Do you mind like breaking me out? Call it even. Klein thought for a second and said, how is the situation for now? For example, the situation in Faceac. Is 1274 a better place to end on? Fuck, actually, Luvian did send me this. I just didn't read. I just didn't check it. I'm stupid. No, Luvian says like 1276 is a good place to end, actually. But I'm not reading all the way to 6. Do we read one more or do we stop here? What do we think? Sorry, Luvian, I promise in the future I will check. Luvian! Are you telling me you wanted me to do a long stream that was 14 chapters tomorrow? Are you nuts? 14? You on crack? What the fuck do you think this was? What do you think I am? What, you think I'm fucking XQC, bro? What is happening here? Oh, yes. Okay, let me... Okay. So then let me ask, are other outer deities from, this was the question I wanted to ask, but you guys were all yelling at me, so I didn't. Are other outer deities from like other oldest ones? Are there other equivalents of oldest ones? Because it seems like the oldest one had like a certain pathways that came from him, but like, it doesn't seem like everything came from him. Because like, or did they, or even other outer deities, or even all outer deities came from, he created the universe, like everything came from him? Oh, okay. Okay. Just asking. Okay. Okay, God. Man, I liked it way back when I could ask questions and you guys would be like, oh yeah, like no problem. No, actually, you just don't understand it yet. But now it's like immediately, it's like, no, you fucking idiot. How do you not understand anything? What are you even fucking reading? You're like, yeah, I'm sorry. Damn. Seriously, can we do like a... Oh my God, this is so cool. Yeah, no, I remember this. I remember the creation myth, stranger. Kami, but some. Wait, hold on. What did Kami say? Yunk. Kami. But some things were created directly by him and others indirectly. Oh, that's the only difference. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, the oldest one was. You guys call me the oldest one, so what the fuck does that mean? You know. If you don't know, that's Jesus Christ, Bug, even you? Even Bug is being this mean? Oh my God, we're so cooked. Damn, that fucking scythe looks so cool. This is so cute. This is so cute. That's really cool too. Damn, I don't know why I love scythes in like fantasy. I don't know why. I find them so cool. Like such a cool weapon to use. Like whole like immediate like 10 out of 10. I fucking love scythes. Door of Light. What the fuck is going? Why is this is so complicated? What the fuck is going on here? Wake up to this room. How screwed do you think Earth is? Nah, Klein is here, bro. We're chilling. Klein is gonna become the Lord of Mysteries, and then he's gonna save the world. He's gonna be like, all right, Evernight, you take 2, I'll take 7 of them. Okay, we got this. We got this. Just let me lock in real quick. Oh, I already seen this, of course, but. What is the name of this song? Because throwing away your map. Oh, because I remember this music when I was playing the game. Oh, this is so good. He's got mysteries all over. Jesus Christ. Damn, that does look cool. Wow, that looks so cool. Didn't we like see this when Klein became a demigod? Am I crazy? I think, this is different. Oh, this is different. Sorry, I was just looking at the cocoons. I didn't even notice this guy back here. Oh, never mind. Shows celestial worthy. Oh, I see. Shows celestial worthy. Interesting. Different one? Okay. Damn, she looks so cool. Think of the great old ones sealed. Oh yeah, dude, like that's what I mean. Like the Lord of the Mysteries is strong enough that another great old one was like dumb enough to come to Earth, and great old one was like, oh, it seems you don't seem to understand. Earth isn't yours to conquer, and just puts him in a lamp. He's like, Get the fuck in there. Stay in there, you little shit. And that guy's just stuck. Like 1,000 years later, he's like, please, someone, get me out. I can't. Like, so cooked. Like, so like, I feel like once Klein becomes the Lord of Mysteries, he could do some shit, bro. Which outer god do you think it is? If it, what the fuck is the question, McSilly? Excuse me? Oh, which outer god is in there? Assuming it's one of the ones I know, because that's obviously like a caveat I have to make. Mother Goddess of Depravity and Mother Tree of Desire we know exist. We don't know who Son of Chaos is. Circle of Inevitability is really big in sequence. Is gonna be big in book 2, so I doubt it's that. That'd be silly. The guy did seem like kind of a bitch though, so I'm gonna go with like Supernova Dominator or High Dimensional Overseer. I'm gonna go with one of these two. King of Space and Time, that is true. I'm gonna go with one of these two, assuming it's one of the ones I know. This music is so good. Oh, this music is so fucking good. Perhaps book 2 takes place in the lamp. Well, the problem with that bug is I know that it was said that I think Romero or someone else told me that you could read one and then you could read Lord of the Mysteries and then COI, or you could read COI and then Lord of the Mysteries and get the story either way. So it's almost impossible just in that sense that it's Circle of Inevitability. So it doesn't make any sense. All right, guys, we're gonna end there. Couldn't Supernova dominate? Well, is he a supernova? No, he can only dominate supernovas. So he's got to be near a sun, and he's not near a sun. Get cooked. All right, guys, we're gonna end stream there. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. There's like fucking 80 people the whole fucking stream. Thank you, everyone, so much. If you're new here, consider joining our Discord. Link in the description if you want to pop by for future streams. As always, thank you, everyone, for popping by. Have a great rest of your day or nights, and I'll catch you all hopefully tomorrow. Bye, guys.